Douluo, Thunder Dragon Martial Soul, 100 Years of Glory. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26, Wind Wolf Continuous / Trouble. Yibai's eyes darkened. He hated flying beings the most. While his spirit abilities did significantly improve his overall abilities, they were still inferior to those of flying beings. This meant his attacks would likely miss, and crucially, he lacked control skills. First spirit ability, Wind Blade Formation. Feng's Ocean, soaring through the air, grabbed at him, sending a barrage of wind blades hurtling towards Yibai. Yibai didn't even need to recite the spirit ability, it was already activated. He dodged the wind blades with a flicker of lightning as he turned sideways. He's truly extraordinary. Feng's Ocean watched Yibai effortless dodge his attacks, a hint of caution in his eyes. Oh my god, are you Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex people so formidable? You dodged all those swift wind blades. Huo Washan couldn't help but recall his battles with Feng's Ocean. How many times had those wind blades not struck him? That's because you're useless. Huo Wu glared at him. Huo Wu felt confident in saying this because he could dodge it, but her gaze towards Yibai was filled with caution. She was a control type, so she naturally had agility, while Yibai's Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex spirit was a pure offense type. Offense types are all about speed, but what about the rest? Feng's Ocean then tested Yibai, swinging a series of wind blades, but naturally, none of them hit. Good boy, he's really well hidden. Do we really have to continue this close combat? At this thought, Feng's Ocean couldn't help but feel a little wary of the other party's lightning. Swish. As Feng's Ocean pondered, a bolt of lightning struck. Feng's Ocean dodged with the phantom wind wings behind him. It came so silently. Is it because it was so fast? Feng's Ocean was secretly shocked. He hadn't expected Yibai's attack to be so swift. If he hadn't reacted quickly, he would have been hit. Full. Yibai whispered softly. The surrounding space suddenly warped, and bolts of lightning descended, densely enveloping Feng's Ocean in a small area. Feng's Ocean's expression changed slightly. He hadn't expected Yibai to possess such a powerful control spirit skill. He frantically flapped his wind wings, trying to break free from the lightning's grip. He thought it was Yibai's spirit skill, but in reality, it was merely the final act of the lightning Yibai had been releasing in the air for so long, causing it to fall. However, the lightning cage seemed to possess infinite power, trapping Feng's Ocean tightly. Feng's Ocean struggled, but the more he struggled, the tighter the lightning's grip tightened. Damn it. Second spirit skill, Twin Wolf Possession. The spirit ring flashed, and a faint green light surged from Feng's Ocean's body. His stature became noticeably larger, his strength greatly increased. Furthermore, each of his attacks had a chance to inflict heavy damage and a critical injury for one round, increasing both the burst damage of the attack and the critical injury inflicted, thereby increasing his subsequent damage output. Swift Wind Demon Wolf / Break it. Feng's Ocean shouted. His figure suddenly transformed into a gust of wind, carrying an endless sharp edge, and crashed fiercely into the lightning. Bang! With a loud bang, the lightning was shattered by Feng's Ocean's forceful impact. Feng's Ocean's figure flashed, and his attack target changed. Feng's Ocean, that guy is serious. What do you mean? Yu Xianheng was puzzled. Swift Wind Demon Wolf / Huo Wu took over Huo Washang's words. Even though she disliked Feng's Ocean a little, she couldn't help but admire his talent. Swift Wind Demon Wolf / is Feng's Ocean's self-created soul skill. Through continuous training and combat, he has brought his wind-attributed martial spirit to its full potential. He combined it with his physical skills to create this powerful soul skill. Self-created soul skill? Yu Xianheng's eyes flickered with surprise at the words, but he wasn't particularly shocked. After all, he knew about Yibai first. Anyway, I've suffered at the hands of that guy before. Huo Washang spread his hands. The more times a spirit skill's Swift Wind Wolf / is stacked, the greater its power becomes, and of course, the greater the drain on the spirit master. By this time, the battle on the field had reached a fever pitch. Feng Zai Ocean unleashed Swift Wind Wolf Slash, sending razor-sharp wind blades hurtling towards Yan Yibai. Yan Yibai, energized by lightning, his speed and agility increased, and he continually dodged. Let me see. Are you as good as the rumors from the clan? Yu Xiangxin's eyes flickered from the seat nearby. Bang. With a loud bang, Yan Yibai was struck by a wind blade, his body swaying slightly. So fast. What a powerful attack. Yan Yibai thought to himself. He knew Feng Zai Ocean's Swift Wind Wolf Slash was powerful and extremely fast, but without having experienced it before, he couldn't make a reasonable assessment. All he could say now was that it was a spirit skill worthy of his time-consuming creation. Let's see. Are you faster, or am I stronger? Yan Yibai quickly lowered himself. What? Feng Zai Ocean didn't understand what Yan Yibai meant. The next moment, 3 of Yan Yibei's spirit rings lit up, followed by a sudden burst of intense lightning. Puff. He moved his feet, and the next moment, he had disappeared from his position. What? The same words twice, but with different emotions. Bang. The golden lightning fist collided with the swift wind blade. Blocked. Thunder Dragon seemed like a different person in an instant, blocking the attack of that swift man. Although Yan Yibai blocked the swift wind wolf's continuous slashing attack, Feng Zai Ocean quickly continued to slash. Bang, bang, bang. Thunder Dragon is worthy of being a gold fighting spirit level player. After unleashing his spirit skills, his speed is surprisingly comparable to that of the flying wind demon wolf. The constant collisions between Yan Yibai and Feng Zai Ocean made him frown. This is why he hates flying. He can resist counterattacks, but with the opponent flying around, he can't charge up to attack the opponent, and can only wait for Feng Zai Ocean to take the initiative. His best way to deal with such an opponent is to weaken the opponent's spirit power and defeat him when Feng Zai Ocean is exhausted. The situation on the field seems to be in a stalemate now. Neither side can do anything to the other. Does this battle of spirits depend on whose spirit power is exhausted first? The host's words constantly stirred the audience's heartstrings. Who is he? He has already received 18 consecutive attacks from Feng Zai Ocean. Huo Washang's thoughts were not without reason. It was because the last time he fought Feng Zai Ocean, he was defeated after the 16th consecutive attack. Chapter 27. Fighting the Information Gap and Defeat the Demon Wolf. Yu Xianheng, Yan Yibai, a direct disciple of the Blow Lightning Tyrannosaurus clan, a man with talent and ability comparable to Feng Zai Ocean, a spirit master who also possesses his own unique spirit skills. Even I have to admit his diligence in cultivation. Meanwhile, somewhere else, Yu Xiangxin's eyes narrowed slightly. Yan Yibai, is this the real you? To be able to fight Feng Zai Ocean, who possesses full innate spirit power, and remain undefeated. He was not unaware of Feng Zai Ocean's strength. On the contrary, he was well aware of it. As the two were respectively the pinnacles of Thunder Academy and Divine Wind Academy, they had naturally clashed before. In the spirit fighting arena, Feng Zai Ocean's lips curled into a smile as he watched his continuous chain of Swiftwind Demon Wolf slashes. He could already imagine Yan Yibai being defeated by him. Yan Yibai had no idea what Feng Zai Ocean was thinking. If he knew, he would probably just say he didn't care. The continuous Swiftwind Demon Wolf slashes had taken a considerable toll on Feng Zai Ocean. After taking 3 more blows from Feng Zai Ocean, Yan Yibai keenly sensed that Feng Zai Ocean's speed had slowed down. Opportunity. A gleam of brilliance flashed in Yan Yibai's eyes. He was now aiming for a mismatch in information. Zzzz thunder breath. The power of lightning continued to build, and golden light flashed around him. Feng Zai Ocean was extremely fast, and Yan Yibai couldn't guarantee he could completely dodge it, so he chose to confront him head-on. Feng Zai Ocean keenly sensed something was amiss, but now, he was only a meter away from Yan Yibai, and there was no way back. Bang. He tricked me. These were Feng Zai Ocean's first thoughts, after taking Yan Yibai's punch head-on. Yan Yibai was then pushed back several steps by the impact, while Feng Zai Ocean was sent flying backwards. Thunder Dragon's roar. A beam of lightning enveloped Feng Zai Ocean once again. At this moment, the winner was almost certain. Feng Zai Ocean had suffered a loss he'd suffered because he didn't know Yan Yibai's details, while the other party knew him quite well. If Feng Xiaoshan understood Yan Yibai, then Yan Yibai might have to pay a greater price to win the match. It wasn't that he couldn't force his way past Feng Xiaoshan, but that price was pointless here. Feng Xiaoshan reappeared in a rather disheveled state, his clothes tattered, and his face bruised. He had just used his spirit power to protect himself. Ahem. You've got me. Boom. Feng Xiaoshan was met with a bolt of lightning falling from the sky. Wait. I admit defeat. Feng Xiaoshan was already injured, and knowing that, if he continued fighting like this, he would suffer the most, he decided to simply concede. Let's talk outside the venue. Feng Xiaoshan gave Yan Yibai a cryptic look. After Yan Yibai and Feng Xiaoshan's spirit duel ended, Yu Xiangxin averted her gaze. The family certainly misjudged us. But the family isn't entirely wrong. They simply placed too much value on Yibai, which is why they were disappointed when he violated family rules. If they hadn't trained Yan Yibai as a direct descendant of the family, but instead as a sect disciple, perhaps the story would have been different. But that's just a thought. With the Blow Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex spirit, how could the family just turn a blind eye? However, they weren't the only ones in this fighting arena. In a corner, 4 women in gorgeous aqua blue attire were filled with unwavering astonishment. Is this the true strength of that Blow Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex spirit master? Isn't he just slacking off today? Or is he looking down on us? Indeed, today's 7v7 match pitted Thunder Academy against Xianshu Academy. Yan Yibai was definitely slacking off. Sister Zhu Wu, you also have a gold fighting spirit badge. Next time you run into him, you must avenge the sisters. You guys, have you forgotten what kind of spirit master I am? My fighting spirit badge isn't gold by any means. So infuriating. It was the same familiar room, only this time there was one more person. I do have a suggestion. How about we have a 3-on-3 fighting spirit match someday? The 3 of us against the 3 of you. Huo Wu nodded at Yu Xianheng and the other 2, then pointed towards her side. Great. Feng Xiaoshan was the first to support, not for any other reason, but simply because he could be on the same team with Huo Wu. I think it's a good idea too. The competition among the 5 elemental academies is a bit restrictive. Huo Wushang's fists trembled, clashing against each other. I have no objection. Yu Xiangxin folded his arms across his chest, his tone cold. That sounds good. Yu Xianheng also expressed his opinion. Finally, only Yan Yibai remained unconvinced. The 5 of them cast their silent gazes upon him. Yan Yibai was still lost in thought, his attention focused on the outside world. But that naked gaze on him would have shattered anyone else's skin if they'd been stared at like that. But how could Yan Yibai be any ordinary person? He had indeed sensed something directed at him, and it was clearly motivated. He remained conscious, calmly raising his gaze to meet this. He then asked, "What did you just say?" The 5 of them fell silent. This outcome was something they hadn't expected. Never mind, your opinion doesn't matter anymore. 5-1, the majority rules. Feng Xiaoshan addressed the situation directly. What do you mean by 5-1? Yan Yibai looked puzzled. But, Yu Xianheng paused. Yan Yibai, you're being so mean. You came out to play without us. Yu Xianheng choked Yan Yibai, trapping him. Who else hasn't joined yet? Hurry. After the singles, there's the doubles. Feng Xiaoshan glanced past Yu Xianheng and Yan Yibai. It's my turn soon. The next match will be in the fighting arena below us, Yu Xiangxin said. Me too. Huo Wu followed. After another round of small talk, only Feng Xiaoshan and Yan Yibai were left in the room. The other 4 people were fighting with their souls, and watching with their souls. Speak. There's no one here now. Yan Yibai sat on the sofa with his arms and legs wide open, his eyes full of scrutiny. Are your moves also self-created soul skills? Feng Xiaoshan didn't care about the look in Yan Yibai's eyes. You have good observation skills. If it weren't for someone who knew Yan Yibai well, most people would just think that the skills Yan Yibai released were soul ring skills. But Feng Xiaoshan was different. He didn't know Yan Yibai well. He judged by the flashing of his soul rings and the time when his skills were used. Then I think we have a common topic. Feng Xiaoshan smiled. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel. Mundo fanfic novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. A bet. Yibai picked up the drink on the table and shook it slightly. To outsiders, it looked as if he didn't take Feng Xiaoshan seriously. A common topic? His lips curled up, his eyes scrutinizing Feng Xiaoshan. Self-created soul skills? Of course. I think we can communicate and learn from each other's experiences. Feng Xiaoshan had endless topics to talk about when it came to self-created soul skills. Brother Feng. Yibai stopped Feng Xiaoshan. What's wrong? I heard that Brother Feng has innate full soul power, and you're several years older than me, so how come your soul power is only level 36? A soul master with innate full soul power can achieve soul master status at the age of 16. And what about you, Brother Feng? Feng Xiaoshan was speechless for a moment, because what Yibai said was indeed the truth. For someone with innate full soul power, like him, who was 16, almost 17, and still only a soul venerable, was not rare, if not unheard of. Who are those with full innate soul power? They are the world's top geniuses. What soul master with full innate soul power would waste time like Feng Xiaoshan, not diligently cultivating? I want to tell you that, although we both created our own soul skills, we don't have anything in common for now. Let me say a few words. It's also a warning to you. I, Yibai, am from the Blow Lightning Tyrant clan. I'm at level 7 innate soul power, 13 years old, and level 34. That's right, level 34, a breakthrough I just made a while ago. Just now, I, a level 34 soul master, defeated you, a level 36. And if I weren't a soul master, I wouldn't even stand a chance against you. With that, Yibai left. As for why he told Feng Xiaoshan all this, that was his consideration. Feng Xiaoshan was the only one left in the room. Level 7 innate soul power, 13 years old, level 34. Feng Xiaoshan muttered over and over again. He was already level 34 at 13. And I was only level 33 when I was 13. And even now, my soul power is 36. 36. Feng Xiaoshan's eyes gradually dulled. Time flew by, and the competition reached its final day. The competition between the 5 major academies had captured the attention of many, and the performance of Xiangjia Academy had also pleased Cardinal Stutson of the Spirit Hall. After the competition, there was still a banquet. During the banquet, Feng Xiaoshan approached Yibai again. What exactly did you mean by that? Were you trying to show off your genius to me? In a deserted spot, Feng Xiaoshan gazed at the moon, champagne in his hand, and spoke lazily. I just don't want you to go the wrong way. I don't want a brilliant soul master with innate full soul power to waste his natural talent for soul cultivation. Or rather, I want to recruit you to be my teammate. Me as your teammate? Forget it. You can't even get into the Kamikaze Academy. Feng Xiaoshan only half understood the meaning of this. But how did you do it? With an innate level 7 soul power, you reached level 34 at the age of 13. It's simply impossible. Even drugs wouldn't improve it that much. This was one of the questions that had been bothering Feng Xiaoshan for a while. Yibai didn't rush to explain what he had just said. He continued, it all depends on whether you have the courage. What does this have to do with courage? Did you absorb a soul ring across the age limit? Feng Xiaoshan looked at Yibai with a look of horror. This was something he had never considered. How did you know? Yibai acted with such pretense. You're the least responsible person I've ever met. Feng Xiaoshan was speechless. It's just one example of courage. Yibai sipped at the moon. My 3 soul skills are all amplification skills. Soul power amplification, attribute amplification. It's no secret, and that's exactly why my soul power is increasing so quickly. Amplification soul skills. You're a lunatic. Aren't you afraid of killing yourself? Feng Xiaoshan was stunned, unable to vent his anger. Yibai chuckled, his eyes revealing an inexplicable confidence. Afraid? Of course I'm afraid. But what I fear even more is that within my limited lifespan, I won't be able to pursue those infinite possibilities. That is, the realm of the title. My innate soul power is only level 7. If I don't do this, how can I compete with you? Soul power is no longer my weakness. I have more time to create my own attack methods. The facts prove that I was right, didn't I? Yibai tilted his head and looked at Feng Xiaoshan. Crazy, crazy. Feng Xiaoshan shook his head. Feng Xiaoshan, soul power is the foundation of a soul master. Perhaps once you have further refined your original soul skills, you will be able to fight against opponents of higher levels, but higher soul power combined with your soul skills will give you greater combat effectiveness. For example, you can easily defeat a soul sect master at soul sect level. Why did you go to such lengths to defeat opponents of higher levels at soul venerable level? Yibai's words touched Feng Xiaoshan's heart. No one had ever mentioned this to him before. I'm still saying the same thing. I'm impressed by your talent, and I want to recruit you as my teammate. I want to find a group of viable friends, and then challenge the Spirit Hall for supremacy at the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy Elite Competition. I didn't realize you had such ambitions. Feng Xiaoshan was a little surprised, even though Yibai's words were exactly what he wanted. Your idea is great, but if your target is me, you're not good enough right now. I'm so glad right now. I'm so glad you, a lunatic, have noticed my talent. Feng Xiaoshan realized something was amiss and quickly corrected himself. Otherwise, I would have gone all the way. With your talent and that crazy energy, maybe you'll reach the spirit sect before me. Your talent and strength have whetted my appetite for victory. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you to recruit me as your teammate, or for you to become my teammate. Feng Xiaoshan's words were simple, but the underlying interests were complex. The two of them had made a gamble, agreeing on a specific time for the final settlement. The winner would be the other side, regardless of any obstacles. Of course, this bet meant nothing to Yibai, as he carried no psychological burden. While he was studying at Blue Domination Academy, it wasn't his final destination. He had no ties to anything. If he could gather enough people, he could find a place to study. Blue Domination Academy couldn't control him, and neither could the Blue Lightning Tyrant clan. Chapter 29 Don't move, I'll just stay for a while. Feng Xiaoshan, however, was different. While Yibai didn't care, Feng Xiaoshan had more concerns. He couldn't be as carefree as Yibai. He had the support of the Divine Wind Academy, and they had his parents. His innate gift of abundant soul power meant he shouldered the honor of the Divine Wind Academy. Then we'll have a showdown in 4 years, Feng Xiaoshan set the time. The 4 years didn't hold any special significance, but rather ensured that both of them could carry out the final bet as soul masters. This was ample time. Even if one side lost, there wouldn't be much to complain about. 4 years, okay. I hope you won't let me down then. After all, you've already disappointed me. Hey, are you looking down on me a little too much? I'm also a person with full innate soul power. Yibai, I only care about the results. Feng Xiaoshan, come to Shenfeng Academy someday. If you're welcome, I'm open to that. In the same way, I also welcome you to come to Xiandao City and compete with me. The 5 Elemental Academies reunion came to an end. Although Yibai didn't participate much, the Blue Lightning Tyrant clan, behind the Thunder Academy, had already gotten what they wanted. Yibai had been on this trip for over a month. And now, as soon as he entered Blue Tyrant Academy, someone approached him. Yibai's reputation within Blue Tyrant Academy was incredibly high, and the reason behind it was probably easy to guess. However, fame brings gossip, so when Yibai reappeared, after disappearing for over a month, the speed of the message was incredible. At night, a full moon shone in the sky, illuminating the night. At the lightning mimicking training ground in the back mountain of Lanba Academy, a series of crisp footsteps echoed. You're here. Practicing as soon as I get back, that's really your style. Her cool tone, combined with her distinctive purple chiangsum, lent her a unique charm. Yibai slowly opened his eyes, the lace dissipating behind them. I'm coming. Yibai stood up. It looked like he had anticipated his arrival. It's been a month, and I sense your aura has changed quite a bit. Have you made another breakthrough, you bastard? Du Guyan folded her delicate hands across her chest, holding back the evil within. A small gain. What a freak. Du Guyan sighed softly. Du Guyan didn't question him further about his past month's activities, nor did she take offense at Yibai's sudden departure. She was a very intelligent woman. Although she had also been pampered by Douluo since childhood, her inequalities and temperament were well cultivated. In contrast, the young woman from another powerful family was spoiled, with a spoiled little princess's temper and the self-righteous belief that everything was done her way. The moon is so round tonight. Douluo sat down on a thick root that had grown out of a tree, looking up at the full moon in the sky. Yibai, hearing this, also looked up at the full moon in the sky. After returning to Lanba Academy, he came to this place to avoid being disturbed by more people. By the time Douluo woke him, it was already night. He came to sit beside Douluo. Somewhere, people there always place their longing for their loved ones on this bright moon. People in different places can enjoy the full moon together. Although they can't be together, it can ease their longing. The bright moon can express longing. Daddy? Douluo murmured. Douluo's memories began to flash back, and she couldn't help but recall the past. Grandpa, where's Dad? She was still very young then, looking at Douluo with an innocent look. Yang, your dad has gone to visit your grandma. Douluo looked at Douluo tenderly. He then produced a green hourglass. The fine green sand within the hourglass was made from the blood of the jade-scaled serpent king. This was a unique life hourglass unique to the jade-scaled serpent spirit lineage, capable of measuring the spread of toxins within their bodies. Having reached the rank of titled Douluo, he was no longer very useful. Grandpa, what is this? Back then, she had no idea what the hourglass was. Douluo's chest responded to her. Yang, from now on, it's just the two of us. No one can bully you or hurt you. Otherwise, Grandpa will retaliate. Feeling the weight on his shoulders, Yibai turned to look beside him. He saw Douluo's head resting gently on his left shoulder. That gesture was natural, yet with a subtle sense of dependence, like a weary bird finally finding a safe perch, as if seeking a brief haven in this moment of peace. Don't move. Douluo's voice was low and gentle, as if afraid to disturb this rare tranquility. I'll just lean on you for a moment. Douluo's voice gradually faded, like a gentle breeze across a lake, leaving delicate ripples. Her breathing became slow and even. Yibai said nothing, simply maintaining this position silently, allowing Douluo to lean on him. His left arm slowly raised, gently clasping Douluo's body in an almost protective gesture. Unseen, the corners of Douluo's mouth curled up. Time flew by, and in a blink of an eye, 2 years had passed. In the Blue Pride Academy's retreat room, Yibai sat in deep silence, his eyes fixed on the ground, the surging soul power within him betraying his restlessness. Outside the training room, big sister, do you think the boss should be fine? Oscar, with his white hair, stared at the training room door. Compared to Oscar's slightly nervous expression, Douluo was completely calm, sitting gracefully by the side, waiting patiently. Little AO, are you too unsure about him? Watch out, he might come out and give you extra tasks apart from anything else. Douluo's demeanor had indeed become more and more seductive with age. Big sister, please spare me. Oscar was startled. Just wait, it's not a problem for him at all. A 15-year-old soul master, he's really left me behind. Douluo couldn't help but think of her own soul power, which was level 38. She was also about a year older than Yibai. Yibai could have reached even faster if he'd been training at full strength, but he had higher aspirations for his 4th soul ring, so his training was slower. I feel like the boss is even closer to full innate soul power than I am. Her words betrayed both her frustration with herself and her admiration for Yibai. Chapter 30 Breakthrough, the pig that puddled the cabbages. You're quite good. Soul masters with food type spirits are rare, and you're naturally full of spirit power. You'll definitely achieve great things in the future. Perhaps you can even usurp the title of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Sect's top support type spirit. Douluo's words weren't meant to be teasing, but rather genuine affirmation. Oscar was an orphan until the age of 6, and was adopted by Flanders only after his spirit awakened. Otherwise, according to Shrek Academy's rules, Oscar wouldn't have been able to enter. People are always interested in profit. If Oscar didn't have this talent, Flanders wouldn't have bothered. As for the claim of favoritism towards Oscar, that's completely nonsense. Among so many orphans, Oscar is just another one. Furthermore, Flanders is a soul master. From a soul master's perspective, only soul masters would be looked up to by him. He's also a businessman, and he wouldn't bend his will unless there's a profit in it. Oscar's spirit is the god of food, comic version. He currently possesses 3 spirit abilities. The first one is the restoration of giant stinky tofu. The effect is to restore soul power and physical strength. The second soul skill, detoxifying petals and candied garlic, detoxifies and eliminates abnormal physical conditions. The third soul skill, violent flight fresh mushroom. Oscar's third soul ring was taken from a 1,000-year-old emerald demon bad soul beast, a chance encounter. Young Yibai made a significant effort to acquire this soul beast. This soul beast is lightning fast, extremely aggressive, and particularly fond of eating brains. This soul skill allows a person to fly at the speed of a 1,000-year-old emerald demon bird for 3 minutes, accompanied by a berserk state that increases attack power. Oscar's first soul skill was already finalized when young Yibai recruited him, and the subsequent second soul skill remained largely unchanged due to its practicality. The third soul skill was originally planned to be a 1,000-year-old coxcomb phoenix snake. After experiencing the loss of flight, young Yibai realized the true value of flight for a soul master. However, an unexpected event along the way led to something even better. While the effect was said, after actual use, Oscar was revealed to be a truly valuable food type support soul master. Although Douluo Yan had once been extremely resistant to the stinky tofu created by Oscar's first soul skill, Oscar's stinky tofu was, after all, a soul skill, disappearing upon entry, transforming directly into the soul skill's effect. Hehe, I'm not as good as Big Sister says. Fortunately, Oscar had found the right person, and his smile was less lewd. In the room, with a crisp sound that cut through the air, the turbulent soul energy fluctuations within young Yibai subsided. Young Yibai opened his eyes, stood up, and dressed in one go. Crack. The sound of the door opening caught the attention of Douluo Yan and Oscar, who were still chatting. Looks like you succeeded. Douluo Yan stood up and walked over to young Yibai, who casually put his arm around Douluo Yan's slender waist. Over the past 2 years, young Yibai and Douluo Yan had naturally developed a romantic relationship. You're level 40 now. Do you want to go get a soul ring now? Do you need me to call you grandpa? Douluo Yan's tone was questioning rather than affirmative, unsure if the other party had other plans, or if anyone from the Blow Lightning Tyrant clan would intervene. There's no rush. Young Yibai was still in a good mood, but he didn't show it. He simply enjoyed this gigolo situation. It wasn't that the girl wasn't good, but the older one knew how to cherish you better. I can wait until you reach level 40, and then we can go together. Then you're really putting pressure on me, Douluo Yan said with a charming smile. But I do have something I'd like to discuss with Senior Debu. Okay. As the two chatted, they completely ignored Oscar, who stared at them with dry eyes for a few seconds before withdrawing, thinking to himself, I shouldn't be here. I had a premonition all along, and I stayed here to eat their love. I'm just asking for trouble. Oscar. Suddenly, young Yibai and Douluo Yan ended their casual conversation and called out to Oscar. I'm here. Oscar trotted over with a fawning look. And all this was due to the effectiveness of the training young Yibai had arranged for him. Although you've only recently obtained your spirit ring, I hope you can reach level 40 before the next All-Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy Elite competition begins. Do you have the confidence to do so? Gulp. Oscar gulped. Honestly, the task young Yibai had set him was a significant one. He'd originally thought he'd diligently cultivate to level 30, and after obtaining his spirit ring, he'd be able to relax for a while. But now, he was having a hard time. It was indeed hard, but he was the one who ultimately benefited, so he couldn't say no. Furthermore, his experience as an orphan taught him that if someone no longer cared about you, it meant they'd truly given up on you. Although Flanders and young Yibai were both dependents to Oscar, he could still tell who was truly treating him well. Big brother, I'll do my best, Oscar managed to say, reluctantly, primarily because he truly lacked confidence in himself. Although he possessed full innate spirit power, that only meant a high ceiling, not a guaranteed breakthrough. He wasn't like his elder brother, young Yibai, who absorbed spirit rings to increase his spirit power. I think you can do it. This Oscar finally gritted his teeth, looking at young Yibai with a sorrowful expression. Brother, give me the rest of your training plan. I know you've prepared it for me a long time ago. You're a teachable kid. Young Yibai was pleased with Oscar's attitude. He had always known Oscar had a weak temper. If he hadn't pushed him hard, Oscar wouldn't have known how strong he could be. Young Yibei's gaze unconsciously drifted to Douluo Yan, or more precisely, to her hair. Douluo Yan's hair was originally light blue, but young Yibei's eyes were so sharp, and he was even more attentive, so he naturally noticed the subtle change in her color. Young Yibai naturally knew the reason for this change. Several days passed. Little brat, my Yanan said you were looking for me. Douluo's tone was not very friendly, calling her little brat all the time, even though he had previously changed his name to little guy. But Douluo couldn't be blamed. It was young Yibai who had stolen the house. Douluo used to be very optimistic about young Yibai. Firstly, he had a strong fighting spirit, and was not bad in talent. Secondly, he had a rich knowledge reserve, and a very flexible mind. But now Douluo disliked everything about young Yibai. However, he was the man his granddaughter liked after all, so he couldn't really do anything to him. Senior Douluo. It's not that young Yibai didn't want to call him grandpa, the key is that he didn't allow it. Stop talking nonsense. If you have something to say, just say it. I really don't like you now. Douluo's temper has always been straightforward. Senior Douluo. Yan Zi's hair and eyes are slowly changing color. Although it doesn't look obvious, I have been with her for such a long time, I can see it clearly. What is going on? Young Yibai looked at Douluo very seriously. Chapter 31. Poisonous Beauty. Stimulating Douluo. Young Yibai finished his question. The atmosphere at the scene was momentarily subdued. Douluo's expression had already darkened the moment he heard about Douluo Yan's hair color change. Douluo's face was constantly changing, revealing the depth of his inner conflict. Time passed. HMPH. Don't meddle with your own thoughts, kid. In the end, Douluo didn't explain his reason to young Yibai, waving his sleeves and leaving. Young Yibai had anticipated this outcome. After all, he was merely an outsider, not part of the Douluo family. Douluo declined the conversation, but young Yibai remained calm. He waited, waiting for either Douluo Yan or Douluo to approach him. He had already asked the question, and if no one offered an explanation, resentment would inevitably build. So, even if Douluo didn't come, Douluo Yan would. Meanwhile, after leaving young Yibai's room, Douluo approached Douluo Yan. Grandpa? Douluo Yan was a little surprised that the conversation between Douluo and young Yibai had ended so quickly. Follow me. He said this, but in reality, Douluo whisked Douluo Yan away. When they reappeared, they had already reached Douluo's quarters in Xiandao City. Grandpa, what's wrong? You're more nervous than usual. Unfazed by Douluo's impatience, Douluo Yan skillfully brewed a cup of tea for him. Come, Grandpa, relax. Douluo Yan handed the tea to Douluo. Yang Iron, where's the funnel Grandpa gave you? Douluo took a sip and remembered something important. Grandpa, are you talking about this? Douluo Yan pondered for a moment before pulling out an hourglass filled with green sand from her personal soul storage device. The life hourglass crafted from the blood of the jade-scaled serpent king was truly remarkable. No matter how it was swung, the green sand remained stable, almost 1/6 full. Douluo's heart sank the moment he saw the life hourglass. When he had reached Soul King, it was 1/4 full. Douluo wanted to see if Douluo Yan's hair color was really as young Yibai had described, but then he remembered that he wasn't with Douluo Yan every day, so such subtle changes wouldn't be of much use to him. Grandpa, what's this for? Douluo Yan had been well protected by Douluo. Even now, at around 16, she still had no idea that her poison-loving spirit master had been poisoned. It's just a little gadget. Douluo evaded the question and returned the life hourglass to Douluo Yan. Due to the death of his son, Douluo had adopted a different approach to parenting. While he still encouraged Douluo Yan's spirit power cultivation, he was more devoted to her. Perhaps this change was due to his current title Douluo status. By the way, Grandpa's been a bit busy lately and neglected you a bit. How's your training been going? It's impossible not to make progress following someone so obsessed with battle and cultivation all day. Douluo Yan replied with a smile. Actually, I've already felt it. I think I should be able to break through to level 39 in this month. Douluo Yan's words were etched with unconcealed pride, and she only wore such a naive expression when facing Douluo. With her talent, it was quite remarkable to be able to display such a performance. Great. It seems that brat isn't completely useless after all. Douluo chatted with Douluo Yan for a while longer. Brat. Douluo approached Yibai again. Senior Douluo, tell me, what do you know? Douluo sat down on the sofa, his eyes expressionless. Combining this with Yan's spirit, the only possible explanation I can think of is poison. Although Senior Douluo and Yanzi both possess poison-attributed jade-scaled snake spirits and are experts in dealing with poison, Yibai left the rest of the sentence unsaid. Even without Yibai's words, Douluo could roughly guess what he was trying to say. HMPH. Douluo snorted coldly. Kid, are you questioning me? Douluo's eyes narrowed slightly, his gaze cold and stern as he looked at Yibai. I wouldn't dare. A tense atmosphere settled, but the awkward stalemate didn't last long. Douluo was the first to break the silence. Kid, you guessed right. Douluo simply responded to Yibai's earlier question, and then there was no further action. Furthermore, Douluo didn't need to give Yibai a response. He was a highly respected titled Douluo, while Yibai was still a mere soul sect master. Silence fell again. There aren't many people on this continent who understand pharmacology, but there is a group that specializes in it. I wonder if Senior Douluo has ever considered collaborating with them? TSK. Who do you think I am? I'm the Supreme Poison Master. Douluo, is there anyone else who can solve my problem? Douluo was arrogant, or perhaps he was overly confident in his own poison skills. How could anyone else possibly have a solution to the problem that even troubled him? I wonder if Senior Douluo has ever heard of a family, the Poue clan, formerly one of the 4 single attribute clans of the Haoshan sect. Douluo, huh? So you're talking about those lost dogs? Douluo was right. After the Tang Hao and Kyank Sunji incident, the Haoshan sect was purged by the Spirit Hall. The Haoshan sect, in a cowardly move, simply closed its gates. They avoided direct confrontation with the Spirit Hall, but their subordinate factions suffered greatly. The 4 single attribute clans were the first to be hit. They had no choice but to be purged by the Spirit Hall, resulting in heavy losses. Of the 4 single attribute clans, the Poue clan suffered the most, losing the majority of their members. The Poue clan's patriarch, Yang Wudi, and his son were killed, and his younger brother, Yang Washiang, defected and joined the Spirit Hall. The Poue clan was forced to relocate to a region of the Xingluo Empire, where the Spirit Hall's control was weaker. The Poue clan refines medicine, but they also make poisons. Since Senior Douluo doesn't have any ideas for now, why not try contacting the Poue clan? With Senior Douluo's strength, I'm sure the shattered Poue clan wouldn't dare say no. Oh, you praise the Poue clan so highly. Do you think they can rival me? That's hard to say. Yibai's words suddenly became mysterious. Douluo looked at Yibai with a frown, like a fox, sensing a hidden meaning in his words. Almost instantly, Douluo remembered Yibai's identity, or rather, his origins. Coming from the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex clan, could he know some secrets I don't? Douluo speculated. Chapter 32, Destroying the Clan. Really? Don't you want me to help you with your 4th spirit ring? Douluo couldn't help but ask again along the way. No, Senior Douluo, I'll wait for Yanzi with me. She should be close to level 40. He's really a tough guy, but he still has some conscience. Douluo thought to himself. The conversation a week ago had left Douluo unsure about the situation. Although he was a titled Douluo, he was a latecomer, with no reliable support, and no personal background. Yibai, on the other hand, was from the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex clan, a clan that had been active on this continent for a long time, and had almost always been at the top of the continent. Such a clan had a strong foundation and many secrets unknown to ordinary people. Yibai's mixed words had indeed hooked Douluo. Now, Douluo, Douluo Yan, Yibai, and Oscar were traveling together to the Star Luo Empire. Douluo's decision to visit the Poe clan and the Star Luo Empire was based on two main reasons. First, Yibai had exaggerated the Poe clan's reputation, but due to his status, Douluo couldn't tell the truth. Besides, there was no reason for him to lie. Sure enough, this brat he disliked would be his grandson-in-law. Second, regardless of the Poe clan's potent medicine or venomous poisons, Douluo was determined to prove he was the supreme poison master of this continent. They set out from Xiandao City, the imperial capital of the Heaven Dao Empire, and traveled westward. Within a week, they reached the border of the Berek Kingdom. Next, they would descend south of the Berek Kingdom into Tucson Province, which bordered the Heaven Dao Empire and the Crossing Luo Empire. Tucson Province, affiliated with the Crossing Luo Empire, was a strategic military stronghold for both empires, and bloodshed along the border was a constant threat. Over 100 years had passed since the Spirit Hall forcibly intervened in the war between the two empires. In that time, the Crossing Luo Empire, aside from the Heaven Dao Empire, had recovered. They were eager to defeat the Heaven Dao Empire and achieve their goal of unifying the continent. However, the Spirit Hall was no pushover, and the Star Luo Empire was wary of it. The Poe clan, who had migrated to the Star Luo Empire, were located in Kadi province in the southwest of the empire. Far from the Spirit Hall's political center, Spirit City, this location offered them minimal harassment from the Spirit Hall. However, even their relocation to this location did not guarantee their escape. Within the Star Luo Empire, there were Spirit Hall minions and two of the lower four sects, which had already formed a united front with the Spirit Hall. Although the Poe clan survived the Spirit Hall's assault, its affiliated sects had no intention of letting them go, and frequent harassment became a regular occurrence. The Fire Leopard sect and the Windsword sect had long maintained ambiguous relations with the Spirit Hall. With the exception of the White Tiger sect, directly affiliated with the Star Luo imperial family, three of the lower four sects had already aligned themselves with the Spirit Hall. Along the way, led by Yibai, Douluo and Oscar, all engaged in immersive training. Douluo successfully reached level 39, and Oscar's soul power also broke through to level 32. Douluo rented an oversized carriage, more than enough for the four of them. Oscar's obsession with cultivation was entirely due to Douluo's presence. From childhood to adulthood, Douluo was the most prestigious and powerful person he had ever met. The faint sense of oppression was so overwhelming that Oscar couldn't bear to look directly at him, and he could only immerse himself in cultivation to escape. Douluo's gaze swept over the three of them, except for a gentle lingering glance on Douluo. He passed over the others briefly. Overall, though, Douluo was extremely pleased with Yibai, but that wasn't a reason to steal his cabbage. After nearly a month and a half, they finally reached their destination, Sam City, a border city in the Kadi province of the Xingluo Empire, a medium-sized city somewhere between a large and a small city. A family with an aging soul Douluo living in a city like this? How unpredictable things really are. Yibai sighed as he reached the city's edge. Douluo wasn't as sentimental as Yibai, his purpose was straightforward. But after all, he is a person who can become a titled Douluo, so he still has all the scheming in his heart. After the four of them entered the city, they first found a hotel to check in. Then, with a word from Douluo, Yibai started to collect information. Needless to say, Douluo followed him. Oscar would rather be a light bulb and eat dog food than face Douluo, a titled Douluo, alone, even if they were not in the same room. This is because Oscar's status and position have not been raised yet, and his innate environment is like this. Oscar breathed a sigh of relief after leaving the hotel. Xiaoao, are you so afraid of my grandfather? Douluo's words were full of teasing. Oscar gave a wry smile. Sister Yan, you think too highly of me. Senior Douluo is a titled Douluo. If it weren't for Boss and Sister Yanzi, I probably wouldn't have had the chance to meet a powerhouse of that level in my entire life. That's the benefit of following me and him. At least you, Oscar, won't be timid when you meet a Soul Sage level powerhouse in the future, because you've ridden in the same carriage with a titled Douluo, right? Douluo said with a smile. Oscar could sense Douluo wasn't mocking him, and every word she said was a blessing, a revelation that would brighten the confused Oscar's day and give him more confidence. By the way, boss, Sister Yanzi, how should we gather information? Oscar had no experience in this area. There are many methods, but little AO, you really should learn more about them. Douluo Yan could see that Yan Yibai was cultivating Oscar as a close confidant, and as Yan Yibai's girlfriend, she naturally followed his instructions. The quickest and most convenient way is to go underground, but that's only for the rich. The underworld rarely recognizes people, it's all about money. As long as you have money, you can fulfill 70 to 80% of your wishes. The rest will require even more. Douluo Yan patiently explained this to Oscar. Given Oscar's status and position, he simply couldn't access such things. While Douluo Yan was explaining this to Oscar, Yan Yibai was observing. However, the unexpected always comes before the outcome. What a pretty girl, here he go, bring her back to the mansion. I'm going to enjoy myself tonight, ha 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 ha. Yan Yibai looked in the direction of the voice. He saw a rather shabby looking man, not even as tall as him. Yan Yibai was speechless. How could he be caught in such a cliched plot? Chapter 33, Violent Flying Fresh Mushrooms, The Rise of Oscar. How dare you? You're so bold. No one had expected Oscar to say such words, not even Yan Yibai and Douluo Yan. Oscar had stood before them, pointing a finger at their noses and cursing. What's he barking about? The perverted noble on the other side seemed to have never been yelled at like that before. Kill him, he shouted angrily, recovering a little. HMPH. Oscar, with a rare display of toughness, unleashed his martial spirit, revealing 3 spirit rings, 2 yellow and 1 purple. Spirit Master? The man exclaimed, a hint of surprise. Ha 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 ha, he's just a spirit master. My dad is the lord of this city. In some city, I, Yang Wen, can do whatever I want. Go on. Beat up that white-haired guy, and bring that girl to me. Yes. The guards approached them with sinister smiles on their faces. Bang, bang, bang. Spirit rings, all yellow, rose beneath the guards. Judging by his personal guards, this nobleman with a smirk seemed quite favored. The guards were all spirit masters and great spirit masters. It's over, it's over. Are these 3 from out of town? What bad luck they've run into him. Sigh. Yang Wen, the little bully of some city, and his father is the city lord. These guys are probably in trouble. It's such a pity for that girl. Shut up. The noble young man, protected by the guards, cast a cold glance at the people around him. The ordinary people certainly didn't have the courage to continue making trouble. Oscar, stand back. Yan Yibai's voice was flat. He was already pleased that Oscar had stepped forward from the start. However, with Oscar's skills, he might be able to deal with 1 or 2, but facing a group would be difficult. Oscar obediently ran back. Zzzz, the murmur of thunder and lightning filled Yan Yibai's surroundings. Oscar, listening to the low rumble of thunder, knew that Yan Yibai's mood might not be very good. Boom. With a loud bang, the power of thunder suddenly erupted. Crack. Immediately, a blinding bolt of lightning slashed from the sky. Ah. With a shrill scream, a guard was struck by the lightning. The current instantly ripped through his body, enveloping him in a dazzling golden glow. In a flash, the guard's body was charred black, like dead wood incinerated by a fierce fire, emitting a pungent, burnt smell. He belched black smoke and collapsed limply to the ground, his trembling form suggesting he wasn't completely dead yet. After the first, there was a second. Whoever Yan Yibai set his sights on would be struck by his own. For a moment, the guards who had escaped the attack retreated. A bunch of trash. Yang Wen cursed, then glared at Yan Yibai with a sinister look. Looks like one of them is quite powerful, but so what? He could still say such words. After all, his father was the lord of some city, a high-level Soul Emperor. In this city, as long as he didn't provoke a certain family, he had nothing to fear. Young master. Yan Yibai didn't want to hear any more of his rants. Too much contact with a fool would infect him. Yan Yibai charged forward, golden lightning gathering force. With one punch, he pierced through the retreating guards, instantly dispatching them with a single blow. Lushan Xinglangba. After dispatching the minions, Yan Yibai attacked the arrogant nobleman. He had someone behind him, so what was there to fear? Young master, be careful. A black-robed figure appeared, protecting the arrogant nobleman. The black-robed figure's martial spirit possessed him, and 4 spirit rings, 2 yellow and 2 purple, emerged. Bang! Yun Yibai and the black-robed figure collided. The blast of air from the combined soul power sent Yang Wenyi flying. Soul Sect Guard, is this your confidence? Before Yang Wenyi could even get up, Oscar was already flying towards him. Behind Oscar, a pair of light science spirit wings. He charged at Yang Wenyi at breakneck speed. Oscar's third soul skill, Violent Flying Fresh Mushroom, allows him to fly at the speed of the Emerald Demon Bad Soul Beast for 3 minutes. Oscar, after years of training with Yun Yibai, has some skill in his martial arts. With the help of external weapons, he still has a fighting chance. Oscar's speed is so fast that Yang Wenyi hasn't even risen when his attack arrives. However, he's no ordinary man. 3 soul rings emerge, and after possessing his martial spirit, he barely blocks Oscar's sudden attack. Damn it, any cat or dog dares to bully me? Go to hell. First soul skill, Demon Ape Possession. Well done. Oscar was not worried but delighted. From the previous collision, he realized that, although his opponent was also a soul master, his strength was really average. At this moment, 2 battlefields opened up. Yun Yibai was facing a soul master, so he no longer held back. He possessed the alien blow lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex martial spirit. Although it had 2 yellow and 1 purple soul rings, the power it unleashed was in no way inferior to that of the soul master he was fighting. This kid is so evil. I'm a level 45 soul master, and he, a soul master, has withstood so many blows from me. Douluo Yan didn't move. She had already gracefully sat there watching. To outsiders, it looked like a disaster, but it felt like they were experiencing nothing more than a commonplace occurrence. Time passed slowly, and Yang Wenyi watched as the soul master protecting him struggled to subdue a single soul master. Honestly, he was getting a little frustrated. Who are you? He demanded, his voice threatening but weak. Yun Yibai took the time to give him a cold look, his eyes flashing with lightning, ready to transform into thunder and devour him completely. I'm warning you, my father is the lord of Sam City. If you dare touch me, he will not let you go. Seeing Yun Yibai's lack of response, and with Douluo Yan watching, the noble young man, feeling increasingly panicked, continued to drag out his backers. Soon, hurried footsteps were heard. The captain of the city lord's mansion's guards arrived with a group of men. They were also stunned by the scene before them. They had never expected that this usually domineering young man would actually hit a wall today. Young master, are you alright? The captain of the guards asked in a concerned voice. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and capture all these guys. Yang Wenyi, upon seeing his men, suddenly regained his courage. While fighting with Oscar, he pointed at Yun Yibai and gave orders to the guards. Chapter 34, Petrification, Medusa's Gaze. Everyone, attack. The captain of the guards shouted, no longer hesitating. Bang, bang, bang. However, before the city lord's mansion guards could even take a few steps, a turquoise mist dissipated, and then the guards collapsed one after another. This is poison. The captain of the guards had a higher cultivation level and some experience, but he didn't hold out for long before collapsing. Meanwhile, Douluo Yan, sitting elegantly to the side, had unknowingly developed 3 spirit rings, the third purple one still glowing. Douluo Yan's Jade Scale Snake's third spirit ability, Jade Scale Poison Ring. It's time to end this boring farce, especially you. Your mouth is completely unnecessary. Douluo Yan slowly stood up, her every word, every gesture, every smile, every frown, and every smile exuding elegance and charm. She had the confidence to do this because her grandfather, a titled Douluo, was in this city, and she knew that her grandfather should have been paying attention to this place for a long time. Oscar, okay, big sister. Oscar flapped his cyan soul wings behind him and quickly escaped from the encirclement of Douluo Yan's green scale poison ring. Boss. Oscar shouted at Yun Yibai, and then Yun Yibai punched him and collided with him, then bounced back into the air with the reaction force. Yun Yibai took the violent flying fresh mushroom handed to him by Oscar and swallowed it in one gulp, and then a pair of cyan wings emerged. He and Oscar flew directly into the air, avoiding Douluo Yan's green scale poison ring, and finally arrived at Douluo Yan's side. Ah. The noble young man looked at the approaching green scale poison mist and couldn't help but scream in horror. She said, why are you still standing there? Come and protect me. Yang Wei subconsciously shouted to the black-robed figure. Dad. After calling the black-robed man, he shouted loudly into the air. Save me. Youngsters, you've gone too far. At this moment, a commanding voice echoed, and a figure, like a ghost, appeared before the noble young man. With a wave of his hand, the poisonous mist, swept upwards by an inexplicable force, flew over the city. Dad. Yang Wei, overjoyed at the sight of a familiar figure, hurried over. Yibai and the other two looked in the direction of the voice, only to find a middle-aged man in a magnificent robe and a dignified face standing there. A faint ripple of soul energy emanated from him. My son was wrong, but you are not qualified to touch him. With that, a powerful soul force surged towards Yibai and the other two. HMPH. A sudden, cold snort sent a shudder through the middle-aged man's heart, and even the soul force he had released instantly dissipated. Since when, my granddaughter, has it become your turn to bully the weak? Douluo, a titled Douluo, spoke with unwavering authority. Before he could finish his words, a tall, emerald green figure with a straight figure slowly entered the arena. It was Douluo. He was dressed in a sign robe, but his eyes were as sharp as a hawk's, imbued with a sense of authority. Levitating in the air, he's at least a soul sage. The middle-aged man's face paled at the sight. He hadn't recognized him as the renowned titled Douluo, Poison Douluo, in the Soul Master world. He simply judged Douluo's levitation abilities as someone he couldn't afford to offend. Suppressing his fear, he forced a smile. Senior, I'm just what? Douluo interrupted, his tone filled with undeniable authority. Just relying on your own strength to bully the weak. Humph, if I hadn't happened to be here today, I'm afraid your granddaughter would have been bullied by your son. The middle-aged man's face sank, and he was furious. For the first time, he considered breaking his son's legs. He hadn't imagined his son would have provoked such a powerful enemy. Because you're not as skilled as others, you think you can bully the weak. Yibai and the other two sensed the powerful aura emanating from Douluo. Oscar was incredibly excited. Yibai remained unmoved, and Douluo looked on with a cold and arrogant expression. Senior, I didn't mean to do that. The middle-aged man tried to defend himself. However, Douluo no longer wanted to hear any explanations. He had already said enough. This would have been impossible in the past. Thank you for this gift from me. Douluo's eyes were cold as he looked at the middle-aged city lord and Yang Wei behind him. To Douluo, he was a titled Douluo. Everything he bestowed upon spirit masters of lower ranks was a gift, even if that gift meant death. Douluo was inherently impervious to persuasion and narrow-minded. He would never leave any trouble unturned, and would eliminate any root cause. He was also unconcerned with saving face, and had no qualms about bullying the weak. When faced with anyone who posed a threat, his first instinct was to smother them. But Douluo wasn't a bloodthirsty man. Though he spoke harshly, his nature wasn't entirely bad. He wouldn't bother anyone, unless they threatened or offended him. But this time, they had crossed Douluo's line. Two emerald green lights, like dark fire, suddenly burst from his eyes, carrying a chilling chill and the aura of death. The light streaked through the air, instantly enveloping the middle-aged city lord and Yang Wei. In that moment, time seemed to freeze, everything in space, frozen in place by the two emerald green lights. Fear and despair still lingered on the faces of the middle-aged city lord and Yang Wei, but their bodies, under the influence of this mysterious force, began to undergo strange transformations. Their skin gradually hardened, like cold rock. Their muscles and bones, illuminated by the light, seemed to be reshaped by some mysterious force, gradually losing their original form, and transforming into lifelike stone statues. Their eyes still held the lingering fear and unwillingness of their former lives, yet they could no longer move. This was Douluo's head spirit bone skill Medusa's gaze. This was a 10,000-year-old head spirit bone Douluo had obtained when he acquired a spirit ring, and its effect was petrification. Thus, a seemingly tense atmosphere dramatically ended with the deaths of the city lord and his son. As for whether he was worried about his identity being exposed, Douluo didn't care at all, for he wouldn't stay in this place for long. Once word got out about what was happening here, whether the Star Luo Empire or the Spirit Hall wanted to cause trouble for him, he would have already left. A strange and powerful spirit master has arrived in some city, at least a spirit sage. In the office of the head of the Yang family, the Poi clan, Yang Wudi listened to his clan members report on the latest developments. It's been over a decade since the Yang family relocated to Senmu City. In all that time, no soul saint has ever visited this remote city. Even those who have come to trouble our Poi clan have only sent small minions to annoy us. This strange soul master is most likely targeting us. Humph. Yang Wudi snorted. Senmu City is so remote and resource poor that higher level soul masters are generally reluctant to come here. Yang Wudi felt the other party was targeting them. However, he couldn't confirm whether they were from the spirit hall. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35 Yang Wudi Speculation. I'm sure the Poi clan should already know about us. They should be busy gathering information about us. Ever since Douluo wiped out the father and son of the city lord of Sam City yesterday, they'd returned to the hotel and stayed put. In their room, Yibai, Douluo, and Oscar gathered early in the morning for tea. Does this mean we've turned the tables? Douluo said. Yes, Senior Douluo's actions yesterday completely opened the situation. They didn't mention the hateful and pathetic city lord and his son, as if their lives were of no value. Senior Douluo gave the impression yesterday of being at least a soul sage level spirit master, and it's hard to imagine a soul sage level spirit master coming to this medium-sized city with no special features and no resources. And this will alert the Poi clan, the true masters behind Sam City. Let's just wait patiently for a day or two, let them get a bit nervous. I see, Oscar said with a look of understanding. Little Ao, you still have a lot to learn. Douluo naturally followed suit. But, Zio Ao, you did great yesterday. Douluo changed the subject, praising Oscar. This is all thanks to the boss. I even suspected he was a human trafficker back then. Oscar said with a naive smile. If it weren't for the training and fighting spirits he arranged for me, the money he made, and the medicinal baths he gave me to strengthen my body, I wouldn't have reached this point. Actually, the real transformation was my third spirit skill. It gave me aerial strike capabilities, allowing me to dodge attacks and counterattack. That emerald demon bad was targeting me back then. If the boss hadn't saved me, I'd probably be gone. It was the boss who defeated that bird spirit beast that gave me the spirit skills I have today. Douluo, but you do deserve to thank him, and I should too. We both changed with our third spirit ring. Douluo was referring to her third spirit skill, the Jade Scale Poison Ring, which helped her establish her path as a spirit master sooner. Although the three were chatting, Douluo actually heard everything they said. That brat, I feel like he's using me. Despite his words, Douluo knew yesterday's events were completely unexpected. What really concerned him was that young Yibai had actually combined yesterday's events to come up with a seemingly effective plan, something he hadn't anticipated. As young Yibai had predicted, the situation within the Poi clan was indeed somewhat turbulent. Although the Poi clan was the hidden overlord of this marginal city, they maintained a low profile until their strength had recovered. While the Poi clan had suffered significant losses, they still had their own foundation. For example, they maintained their own intelligence channels. For over a decade, the Spirit Hall and its affiliated forces had been constantly seeking trouble, so the Poi clan had not slacked off in their intelligence efforts. Furthermore, the Poi clan relied on medicine and elixirs to sustain their livelihood and strengthen their family power, so they also needed intelligence to obtain herbs and other raw materials. At the Poi clan's Yang clan compound, Yang Wudi held in his hands the information his clan members had gathered regarding yesterday's turmoil. He clutched the intelligence tightly, his eyes glued to every word, his brow furrowed, as if he were staring through it. His fingers tapped the tablet top, a rhythmic sound that betrayed his inner restlessness and unease. Green hair and green eyes, moody, narrow-minded, murderous when displeased, that was just one of the details. According to the information they had gathered, a relevant individual claimed to have heard the mysterious figure, in a near whisper, address the poison-savvy woman as his granddaughter. Yang Wudi repeated this information in a low voice, each word hammering at his heart. This information aligned with the intelligence his clan had gathered over the years, pointing to a clear target, poisoned Douluo Dugubo. A solemn look flashed in Yang Wuda's eyes. Taking all this information into account, I can't think of anyone else who fits these descriptions besides Dugubo. Dugubo hadn't deliberately concealed his movements in the city a few days ago. While his identity wasn't easy to guess based on the few clues, with the abilities of the Pou clan, with some time, they could still piece the clues together. I thought it would be a minor figure from the spirit hall, but I didn't expect such a powerful figure. Yang Wuda's resolute face reflected a thoughtful expression. But how could poisoned Douluo Dugubo, a titled Douluo from the Heaven Dao Empire, come to the Crossing Luo Empire, the home city of my Pou clan? He shook his head, his tough exterior seeming at odds with his pensive expression. Yang Wuda was a man born for combat, his muscular lines clearly visible, as if each muscle contained boundless power. However, at this moment, he was lost in deep thought, a stark contrast to his usual image. When did our Pou clan become entangled with this ruthless individual? He muttered to himself, a hint of confusion and wariness in his tone. If a member of the clan had truly provoked him, given Dugubo's character, he would have come to his door long ago. There was no way he hadn't made any move yet. Trouble. Yang Wuda cursed inwardly. Deep down, his stubborn nature made him unwilling to give in to Dugubo. But in reality, he had many concerns. If he were alone, he might not be afraid of Dugubo, but he was not alone. He had the entire Pou clan behind him. Dugubo was no pushover. Although he was known as the weakest titled Douluo, his ruthlessness was something everyone feared. Yang Wuda paced the room. Another day later, the clan members came to Yang Wuda again. Clan leader, someone's here to visit. A Yang family disciple came to the clan leader with a solemn expression. Who is it? The ones who caused a stir in some city a few days ago. How many people? Are there any with green hair, green eyes, and green robes? Yang Wuda pressed. No, it's the 3 young men who clashed with Yang Wei that day. Yang Wuda frowned. His worst fear had finally come true. They were indeed coming for the Pou clan. However, the fact that Dugubo didn't come directly proved that things hadn't reached their worst point yet. Chapter 36. Poisoned Douluo arrives. After days of silence, young Yibai and the others finally took action. Send them in. Yang Wuda spoke after a moment's silence. If it weren't for Dugubo's support, he would have simply refused. After the Yang family member left, Yang Wuda unconsciously clenched his fists. It's still because they lack strength. Soon, young Yibai and the other 2 were ushered into the Yang family mansion. Passing by the Yang family compound, young Yibai happened to catch a glimpse of the Yang family's martial arts academy. The new generation of the Yang family was diligently training there. Their clothes were soaked with sweat, but their eyes were remarkably determined. As expected of the Yang family, who have survived destruction, young Yibai silently praised. The Yang family is still the same broken clan. As long as a clan has a strong individual to protect it, it still has a chance to rebuild. Soon, led by the Yang family members, they were ushered into the Yang family's reception hall. After the Yang family members had properly entertained their guests, they withdrew. Young Yibai and the other 2 were the only ones left in the vast reception hall. Not long after, a tall figure emerged from the back hall. Yang Wuda sat down there. Young Yibai and the others could sense his unspoken aura of authority, and a slight shudder sank in their hearts, knowing this must be the Yang family patriarch, Yang Wuda. Before either side spoke, Yang Wuda's gaze was piercing, as he studied young Yibai and the other 2. The moment Oscar's gaze met Yang Wuda's, his mental image instantly grew taller. He looked down at him, his piercing gaze stinging his eyes, and he quickly avoided Yang Wuda's gaze. Yes, Yang Wuda was using his mental power. As an 81st level soul Douluo, he was naturally adept at using it. He channeled this power into his eyes, akin to a deterrent, weakening his opponent's status. Of course, Yang Wuda's move was both a test of young Yibai and the other 2 and a vent for a subtle resentment. He was, after all, a soul Douluo, and he considered himself a match for Dugubo. Now, he had lowered his status to meet with a few juniors. Although it was only because of Dugubo that he was meeting with these 3 juniors, he was still very unhappy. He didn't go too far, he simply used mental intimidation. He expected them to lose their composure in the face of him, but he hadn't expected a small hiccup. Yibai's knowledge was far greater than Yan and Oscar's. Although he hadn't yet fully mastered his mental power, he could sense the pressure from his consciousness. Yibai returned his gaze without fear. A flicker of surprise flashed in Yang Wudi's eyes. Seems he's not a normal person. Yang Wudi thought to himself. After more than 10 seconds, Yang Wudi finally withdrew his gaze. Yan held on for 2 seconds before her breath slowly increased. Unlike Oscar, who withdrew immediately, she had persevered until now, because of Yibai. That's right. Yang Wudi slowly uttered the 2 words. Then, Yang Wudi's gaze turned carefully to Yan, as if he had discovered something. Tell me, what do you want to do? Yang Wudi's tone was emotionless. After a brief pause, he continued, or rather, what message does the person behind you want to convey to me? Yan was certain, she hadn't expected Yibai's words to come true. Patriarch Yang. Yibai spoke. Yang Wudi's gaze fixed on Yibai. In fact, he had long assumed that Yibai was the one in charge. Since you've already guessed it, Patriarch Yang, I won't elaborate further. My master heard from somewhere that the Yang family is skilled in both medicine and poison, and on a whim, he wanted to come and see you. Patriarch Yang. He said to see, but Yang Wudi knew exactly what it was. Yan watched Yibai's serious nonsense. Though her face remained impassive, she was still a little speechless. What had she ever fallen for him in the first place? Although she didn't know the specific reason her grandfather had come here, she knew him well enough. He wasn't that kind of person. Oscar had already calmed down, his face turned away, quietly sipping his tea. What bad luck. Don't let me know who's spreading rumors to or I'll stab you to death. Yang Wudi thought bitterly. Yibai suddenly felt a chill on his back. After all that talk, it's time to tell me who's behind you, right? Yibai. Had he said a lot? Never mind. The one next to me, surnamed given name Yan. Yibai simply stated Yan's name, and Yang Wudi's heart finally settled. The unfamiliar, powerful figure was undoubtedly Alright, you guys go back. Go back and tell His Majesty that the Yang family of the Poi clan welcomes you. Yang Wudi saw them off. This was an offer he couldn't refuse, so he had no choice but to accept it. Yibai and the others withdrew. The next day, the Poi clan was unusually quiet this early in the morning, but this scene actually struck the nearby residents as unusual. The sounds of the Poi clan's daily morning exercises could still be heard nearby. And just as Yang Wudi had said the previous day, the entire Poi clan had made preparations. Today's sun, Yang Wudi said, standing in front of his house, watching the sun. Before Yang Wudi could think further, his gaze fixed, and he looked into the distance. In the distance, Yibai and the other 2 were already flying towards the Poi clan's territory. Yang Wudi wasn't the only one who sensed this. The next moment, several more people appeared beside Yang Wudi, these soul saints of the Yang family. Fortunately, Yibai and the other 2 had visited yesterday, so they wouldn't mistake it for an enemy attack. Within a few breaths, was floating in the air, and behind Yibai and the other 2 appeared 2 pairs of thin cyan wings. Yang Wudi's gaze lingered briefly on Yibai and the other 2. Rather, his gaze was focused on the spirit wings behind them. He knew clearly that they were some kind of spirit ability, but even he couldn't pinpoint what it was. Ultimately, however, his gaze settled on the day's main attraction, Douluo, clad in a turquoise black robe, with emerald hair and eyes, wore a wicked smile. Greetings, His Majesty the Poison Douluo. Yang Wudi declared in a deep voice. He didn't bow his head, he possessed a proud character. After all, he wasn't afraid of even the Spirit Hall or the Clear Sky Sect's Tang Heo. The other soul sages lowered their heads in respect. Their courtesy to Douluo stemmed from their fear of his family's retaliation. He could prevent many sneak attacks, but he couldn't guarantee Douluo's toxicity. Excellent. I can sense the aura of poison on you. It seems I've come to the right place. Ha 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 ha. Douluo roared with laughter. Douluo descended first, followed by the other 3. Chapter 37. Those who are good at using poisons must also be good at using medicines, and those who are good at using medicines must also be good at using poisons. Please. Yang Wudi said to Douluo. Douluo entered the reception room first, followed by the others. I wonder how your majesty knew that my Yang family knows poison? Yang Wudi looked at Douluo and asked in the reception room. Douluo's eyes swept over the people below, but Yibai knew that Douluo was looking at him. Why? It seems that Patriarch Yang is not very welcome to me. Douluo supported his chin with his wrist, tilted his head, and looked at Yang Wudi with a smile. Your Majesty, you are too kind. No one has told me that you are good at using poison. Douluo said casually, playing with the teacup. Someone mentioned to me that your Poi clan has made great achievements in refining medicine. Douluo's evaluation was still light. The Poi clan's achievements in alchemy are far more than remarkable. They are truly unique on this continent. The Poi clan has contributed greatly to the Haitian sect's current status, their expertise in alchemy compensating for its shortcomings. However, the Poi clan's relationship with the Haitian sect is rather distant, and they maintain extreme secrecy regarding their own medicines, which once irritated the Haitian sect's former leader. In recent years, Yang Wudi led the Poi clan to settle in the Douluo Empire. Relying on their own refined medicines, the Poi clan trades with the people of the two empires, resulting in a more comfortable life than the other three single attribute clans. Without further confidence, Yang Wudi wouldn't have considered uniting the four single attribute clans to establish a new sect. No other clan has achieved such equal advancement in both strength and secondary businesses as the Poi clan. My title is Poison Master. After so many years of studying poisons, I naturally have a deep understanding of pharmacology. I know one thing for sure, those who excel in poisons must also be proficient in medicine, and those who excel in medicine must also be proficient in poisons. Douluo concluded, his gaze fixed on Yang Wudi. Yang Wudi fell silent. Douluo's words had caught him by surprise, but Douluo's words were absolutely correct. This was just who he was. Douluo stared at Yang Wudi without replying. It seems you've acquiesced. How does your majesty intend to compete? After a moment, Yang Wudi looked at Douluo and said, there's no rush for a poison contest between you and me. It was just a whim of mine. I've heard that your Poi clan is not only skilled in medicine, but also in combat. It just so happens that the three younger generations who follow me are quite talented. Why not let them compete with the younger nobles first? Yang Wudi looked at Douluo in surprise, a bit confused by his actions. He felt that the Douluo before him was different from the one he knew from the outside world. The outside world rumored Douluo to be aloof, arrogant, ruthless, and treacherous, titled Douluo who would not be questioned. His reputation was always associated with poison and death, making him a fearsome figure. And the deaths of the lord and his son of Sam City a few days ago were indeed caused by this ruthless figure. While Douluo before him was indeed cold and arrogant, he wasn't the murderer he was rumored to be. Yang Wudi didn't think Douluo had come to him specifically to show off these three young men. How could they have thought of leaving Douluo's affairs aside? His gaze once again turned to Yan Yibai, Douluo, and Oscar. Okay. Yang Wudi agreed. He also wanted to see what kind of spirit master that abnormal person was. Similarly, he was very curious about the unique flying spirit skills Yan Yibai and the others had just displayed. The three of you come here and introduce yourselves to Patriarch Yang. Hello, Patriarch Yang. I'm Yan Yibai. My spirit is Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm 15 years old and a level 40 strong attack war spirit master. Yang Wudi was slightly stunned. Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex. 15 years old, spirit power level 40? His tone was clear and calm, but that didn't mean his heart was equally calm. From his surname, he could roughly guess Yan Yibai's status within the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus clan, the son of a woman from another clan who married out. But he couldn't understand why such a prominent member of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus clan would stay with Douluo. Boy, are you at full innate soul power? Many questions crossed Yang Wudi's mind, but he only focused on a few key ones. Patriarch Yang, my innate soul power is level 7. That's impossible, boy. You should know that deceiving a powerful being won't do you any good. Yang Wudi's eyes glared. Young man, I've never heard of a soul master with innate soul power level 7 reaching soul mastership at the age of 15. That's right, young man. Don't try to be so gimmicky. Be pragmatic. The Soul Saints echoed Yang Wudi. With Senior Douluo here, Patriarch Yang, do you think I need to lie to you? Young Yibai said with a smile, seemingly oblivious to the circumstances of his situation. This kid's soul power has indeed reached level 40, and his innate soul power is indeed only level 7. Yang Wudi realized he'd been impulsive, but it wasn't his fault. After all, Young Yibai had shocked him so much. A soul master with innate level 7 soul power had actually reached level 40 at the age of 15. It was unheard of, almost impossible. After all, many soul masters with full innate soul power hadn't even reached level 40 by the time they were 15. Soul master? You haven't obtained your 4th soul ring yet? I had a lucky breakthrough on the way here, and I haven't had time to obtain a soul ring yet. Douluo looked at Young Yibai, secretly thinking, this isn't a blue lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex, it's clearly a little fox. No wonder Yan'an was so interested in this kid, this deceitful brat. I still think it's impossible. Many soul masters with full innate soul power haven't achieved this, let alone you, who has innate level 7 soul power. Unless. Suddenly, as if remembering something, Yang Wudi pressed Young Yibai. Did you eat some rare treasure? If it weren't for someone, Young Yibai's mouth would have nearly split open. Though it was unintentional, it hit the nail on the head. Rare treasure? Oscar. Young Yibai re-emerged. What are rare treasures? I don't know anything about them. Oscar, brother, what's my name? Rare treasure. Yang Wudi explained to Young Yibai. If you're telling me what you're saying, clan leader Yang, then when I was a little over 8 years old, I did, by chance, obtain a special herb. It smelled delicious, and I swallowed it right away. Douluo. This kid had such a chance encounter? Boy, can you describe what that herb looked like? Yang Wudi couldn't sit still. He darted over to Young Yibai, his hands already grasping his shoulders. He was excited, his dignity as a Yang clan leader gone, his eyes brimming with anticipation. Chapter 38. Everyone is worthy of a title. Do you remember where you found it? Young Yibai hadn't answered the first question when Yang Wudi's second came. As he spoke, Yang Wudi lost control of his hands, and Young Yibai followed his movements back and forth. Clan leader Yang, calm down. It was no wonder Yang Wudi was so agitated. This rare treasure was truly a once-in-a-lifetime treasure for anyone knowledgeable about medicine. If he could possess just one, perhaps he could break free from the vicious shackles of the Poyi clan and glimpse the realm of a titled Douluo. Young Yibai had already prepared his story, while Yang Wudi was navigating his situation. That's it sounds a bit like a 9th grade purple fungus, Yang Wudi muttered. Young Yibai mastered the art of speaking, half sentenced and half concluded, leaving Yang Wudi to speculate endlessly. Boy, can you recall the appearance of that herb in more detail? Where did you find it? Yang Wudi asked, undeterred. Clan leader Yang, this happened 7 or 8 years ago. I was lucky to have come across it back then. As for the location, it was in Thunder Canyon within the Blue Lightning Tyrant clan's territory, but I can't remember the exact location. Well, I have an ancient tome here. Come with me. Young Yibai successfully manipulated Yang Wudi with information about immortal treasures. Although his current words were all deceptive, those things did exist within the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, didn't they? Remember how Douluo Yuguan resolutely abandoned Bibidang's mission to eliminate those individuals who had ingested immortal treasures, and how Yang Wudi resolutely abandoned all grudges and grievances to join a sect because of the crystal blood dragon ginseng. In this day and age, immortal treasures are irresistible to anyone who discerns their value, and neither Yang Wudi nor Douluo Yuguan was immune. Ahem. Although Douluo was confused, he knew that he had obtained a piece of information from the conversation between Young Yibai and Yang Wudi, that is, a kind of medicine, a medicine that even Soul Douluo was excited about, and it was also the real reason for this achievement. Douluo also understood medicine. He seemed to have taken the magical medicine that Young Yibai and Yang Wudi talked about, and it was also because of that special medicine that the poison in his body was suppressed. Douluo's sudden cough calmed Yang Wudi down. Yang Wudi also knew that he was a little crazy. We will deal with the two of you after the competition is over. I'm sorry, Your Majesty, I was obsessed. It doesn't matter, I also know a little about medicine, and if I encounter anything related to poison, I will also be very interested. Go on. Douluo signaled Young Yibai with his eyes. Clan leader Yang, this is senior Douluo's granddaughter, and also my girlfriend, Douluo Yan. Douluo knew that his granddaughter's talent could not compare to Yan Yibai and Oscar, but Douluo did not want Douluo Yan to be really weaker than Yan Yibai and Oscar in this broken clan, so he signaled Yan Yibai. Of course, Yan Yibai understood it immediately, because he had this idea a long time ago. The granddaughter of the titled Douluo and his girlfriend were enough to attract more attention from Yang Wudi. Douluo Yan walked gracefully to Yan Yibai. She looked at Yang Wudi politely and said, "Hello, clan leader Yang, I'm Douluo Yan, 16 years old, with the spirit green scaled snake, and a 39 level soul master. Well, your majesty's granddaughter is so outstanding, your majesty will have successors. 16 years old and 39 levels is considered to be quite outstanding." Yang Wudi did not hesitate to exaggerate. Ha 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 ha. Douluo was happy when anyone praised his granddaughter. Boy Oscar, meet Patriarch Yang. Oscar did not move after Douluo Yan introduced himself, and he also took the opportunity to step forward and said. Oscar took another deep breath and continued. Martial soul food god, innate full soul power, 12 years old 32nd level weapon soul master, food system. Yang Wudi didn't care much about Oscar at first, but when he heard that the other party was a food system with innate full spirit power, the shock in his eyes was no less than his previous surprise at Yuntang Bay. Food system soul master with innate full soul power. Is this the first case on the continent? Maybe there were some before, but they were not recorded. The one in front of me now is the first one with innate full soul power that I know of. Before Yang Wudi could say anything, the soul saints of the Yang family exclaimed first. Innate full soul power. They had never seen it with their own eyes in all their lives. Yang Wudi thought much more deeply than those soul saints. He frowned slightly, and after a while, he looked at Oscar and said, "Just now you were flying in the sky. Are those soul power wings behind you your soul skill?" Oscar didn't expect that Yang Wudi would ask this senior. "You have a good eye. That is indeed my soul skill. My third soul skill is the violent flying fresh mushroom, which is taken from the Millennium Emerald Demon Bad Soul Beast. The effect of the soul skill is flying, and it can fly at the speed of the Soul Beast Emerald Demon Bird for 3 minutes. At the same time, it will also be attached with a violent effect to increase the attack power." Yang Wudi became more curious about Oscar's soul skills after hearing about them. "What are your other 2 soul skills?" "My first soul skill." Oscar told Yang Wudi about his other 2 soul skills. "Can you let me try them?" "Of course." Looking at the scene in front of him, Yan Yibei's eyes glowed with an inexplicable color. The purpose of bringing Oscar here was already half achieved. First soul skill, cute, fragrant and tender tofu. Second soul skill, young and beautiful with a clove of garlic. Third soul skill, green winged flying mushroom. Oscar's 3 soul rings lit up in objection, and as Oscar chanted the soul spell, a piece of tofu, a clove of garlic and a mushroom appeared in Oscar's hands. Oscar's tofu looked white and tender, but the stench that wafted out made many people present frown. Oscar now just felt embarrassed. His soul skills were just like that. Yang Wudi was also a veteran. He picked up the piece of white and tender stinky tofu without changing his expression. Yang Wudi put it directly into his mouth. The tofu melted in his mouth and turned into soul power that flowed into Yang Wudi's body. After a second or two, Yang Wudi continued to pick up the clove of garlic and put it into his mouth. Yang Wudi did not linger for too long. After the last mushroom entered his mouth, a pair of green wings appeared behind Yang Wudi, but these wings were more solid than those of Yan Yibai and others. "But, very good." Yang Wudi's eyes flashed. "Your soul skills are indeed extraordinary. Among auxiliary soul masters, it is rare to be able to improve the overall strength of a soul master so directly and efficiently." There was a hint of admiration in Yang Wudi's tone. He was an old soul master and knew very well the importance of an excellent auxiliary soul master to the team in the soul master world. Chapter 39, Flying Gas Lightning, Battlefield Harvester. Yang Wudi looked at Yan Yibai, Oscar, and Douluo Yan with a complicated expression. In his eyes, Yan Yibai was a stroke of luck, Oscar was a natural, and Douluo Yan's future achievements were not far behind. Yan Yi and Oscar were already potential title Douluo candidates. As long as they could successfully develop, they would definitely reach the titled realm. If Douluo Yan could find the right opportunity, she could also achieve the title. Your Majesty Douluo, your 3 younger generations are truly outstanding. They are even better than we were back then. Douluo was very satisfied. He glanced outside. Then let's get ready. Clan leader Yang, you should also find a few outstanding clan members. Let's divide the battle between them into 2 rounds. Let's have a team battle first. He was indeed thinking of a team battle. On Douluo's side, Yibai was an offensive type spirit master, Douluo Yan was a control type spirit master, and Oscar was a pure support. As for this kid, you can pick a spirit master for him. Douluo glanced at Yibai. He's going alone. Don't doubt it, this brat is no ordinary soul master. Yang Wudi also glanced at Yibai, then said to Douluo, then, your majesty, I'll take my leave. Almost half an hour later, at the Pou clan's martial arts arena, Yang Wudi spent half an hour selecting 3 members of the clan. Your majesty, these 3 are also quite outstanding members of our clan. Please introduce yourselves to them. Yang, martial soul breaking spear, level 37 strong attack soul master. Wu Weifeng, a sign of the Yang family, martial soul chasing fan, level 31 control soul master. Yang Lang, martial soul breaking spear, level 42 strong attack soul master. We greet your majesty, the titled one. Douluo saw the fearlessness in the eyes of the 3 young Yang family members as they faced him, and a flicker of surprise flashed in his eyes. This was not the courage of ordinary soul masters or soul masters. This wasn't surprising. Over the years, the Pou clan had always adopted a radical approach to educating their children. Frequently harassed by forces affiliated with the Spirit Hall, their upbringing had always prioritized the Haoshan sect and the Spirit Hall as their imaginary enemies. Yes, the Yang clan was truly that powerful. A Soul Douluo clan considered 2 titled Douluo factions as their imaginary enemies. They constantly contemplated revenge against the Haoshan sect and the Spirit Hall. Douluo, let us begin. The wind blew up a fine dust cloud, and the vast martial arts academy's stage, with 6 people, seemed rather monotonous. As for the rest, Douluo led the group, with Yang Wudi sitting to the side, and the rest of the Yang clan standing in the back. With Douluo and Yang Wudi present, the usually lively and active Yang clan members acted like well-behaved children. Activate your martial spirits. A soul sage from the Pou clan temporarily acted as the referee. Lights shone above the 6 people's heads, marking the soul imprints of their martial spirits. Begin. The soul sage nodded in satisfaction, then vanished from the scene. 3rd soul skill, green winged flying mushroom. Oscar began by creating the flying mushrooms for his 3rd soul skill. Douluo Yan and Yibai took them and consumed them, with Oscar not far behind. With a swish, the 3 of them controlled the green soul wings that appeared behind them, and soared into the air. Is this the food type soul master the clan leader mentioned? I was originally planning to eliminate their support type soul masters first, but now it seems that won't be easy. As the leader, Yang Lang naturally wanted to get a glimpse of the situation. After Yibai and the others took off, the Pou clan's martial spirits remained silent after possessing them. This was because Yibai and the others were in the air, making it impossible for them to reach them. However, they remained on full alert, expecting a sudden attack from Yibai and the others. 3rd soul skill, green scale poison ring. Douluo Yan, still in the air, unleashed her 3rd soul skill. A turquoise poison ring enveloped Yang Lang and the other 2, and turquoise poison began to spread towards them. The Yang family members, who had long dealt with medicine and poison, reacted immediately. Wu Yaoi. Yang Lang shouted. Yes, 2nd soul skill, wind dance. Wu Yao's 2nd soul ring lit up, and he waved his martial soul, the chasing wind fan, sending gusts of wind swirling in. They seemed about to blow away the poisonous mist that was encroaching on them. Suddenly, a flash of lightning shattered the gusts, and the winds were instantly destroyed by golden thunder. Yang Lang's face darkened. He had no choice but to shout, take the poison repellent pills and the detoxification pills. Yang Wudi and the others wouldn't intentionally break the rules of the competition, but they could turn a blind eye to certain things. It's no wonder Yang Lang's face darkened, for this was already considered cheating. He had brought shame upon the Yang family. However, the poison repellent pills and the detoxification pills were only made by them, and their effectiveness was limited. Yibai leaned forward, and as his soul ring flashed, the lightning and thunder that coursed through his body subsided for a moment. But was it really over? No, it wasn't. Thunder. Several bolts of lightning struck Yang Lang and the other two. First soul skill, the two Yang disciples wielded their soul-breaking spears to withstand the golden lightning, protecting Wu Yaowei within. As it turned out, the outcome of this battle wasn't in doubt. Yibai and the others, including them, fought with confidence in this multiplayer duel. Oscar's soul skills were undeniably superior, leveraging the sky's ground advantage to prevent their opponents from launching any effective attacks. Meanwhile, in the sky, Du Guyan didn't have to worry about her poisons and soul skills affecting her own troops. She could confidently unleash her poison against them. Yibai, on the other hand, was responsible for finishing off the attack, using the power of thunder to disrupt the three Yangs, allowing Du Guyan's poison to penetrate more quickly and secure victory. Yibai's decision not to focus on showcasing his individual prowess in this three-person match was to emphasize the importance of Oscar and Du Guyan in the team fight. As it turned out, even without Yibai's support and finishing blows, Du Guyan and Oscar were able to wear their opponents down. Of course, this was also because the Yang clan members weren't very skilled at detoxification. If it were someone else, Yibai would have really needed to take on the challenge. After all, the venom of the jade-scaled snake is not easily handled by the average person. Your Majesty Dubu, we lost this round. It's better to hear than to see. For soul masters below the level of soul sage, the ability to fly is an absolute advantage. It also means they can seize more opportunities and be more flexible in both attack and retreat. Those brats in our family can't do anything to them. Ha 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 ha, that's just taking advantage of their soul abilities. If they were to clash head-on, the outcome would be hard to predict. Du Gubo said this, but inwardly he was delighted and exhilarated. Chapter 40 Yang Wuda's little thoughts. After Yang Lang rested and recovered, his battle with Yibai began. Yibai and Yang Lang faced off. Unlike the frustration of the previous team battle, Yang Lang was now filled with fighting spirit. He was determined to wash away the shame of the previous match and vindicate the soul-breaking spear. At the command of the Yang family leader, Yang Lang and Yibai charged each other. Neither used spirit abilities in the initial exchange. Fists clashed with spear tips. Fortunately, Yibai's hands had already transformed into dragons, protected by his true body armor. After 3 rounds, Yibai and Yang Lang separated. Is this the soul-breaking spear? Seeing is believing. The soul-breaking spear is truly born for battle. This overwhelming power makes my blood boil. Let's fight. The battle was both gradual and exhilarating. Yibai's first spirit ring illuminated. Yang Lang, facing him, could clearly sense a slight shift in the lightning and thunder within him. Holding the soul-breaking spear, Yang Lang stood ready, thinking to himself, this kid, the clan leader is right. Anyone who can break through to level 40 in soul power at the age of 15 is no ordinary person. If nothing else, he must be extremely self-disciplined, otherwise he wouldn't be able to endure the silence of solitary cultivation. And this kid's fighting style is sophisticated, showing he's a seasoned warrior. Yang Lang calmed down, his gaze fixed intently on the approaching lightning. While Yang Lang was lost in thought, the lightning arrived. He seized the opportunity and thrust, but Yibai dodged sideways. Lightning erupted from his left hand, hurtling straight at Yang Lang. Yang Lang drew his spear back to defend himself, blocking the lightning with the butt of his spear, but he also took 2 steps back. Yibai pressed on, his attack swirling with golden lightning element, cloaking him in a layer of lightning armor, making his attacks even more swift and unpredictable. Thunder Dragon's collapse fist. Yibai growled, unleashing lightning from his right hand. A fist condensed from golden lightning lashed out at Yang Lang. Second soul skill, penetration. Yang Lang's eyes grew increasingly serious upon seeing this. He gripped the soul-breaking spear tightly, the tip of the spear tracing silver streaks through the air, as if to infect the very air itself. The soul-breaking spear's second soul skill, penetration, increased its penetrating power by 100%. The 2 attacks collided, their soul power overflowing. However, the force of lightning still spread along the soul-breaking spear, causing Yang Lang to feel a wave of numbness. He was secretly shocked. He hadn't expected Yan Yibei's lightning power to be so dominant. Good boy, you've got some skills. Yang Lang roared, his soul power surging within him, dispelling the paralysis. He knew he couldn't hold back any longer, or he would surely be defeated by Yan Yibai. First soul skill, shock. The effect of this soul skill erupts with a sudden, explosive surge of energy, capable of shaking off any weak restraints from an opponent, and maximizing one's own aura within this blast. Yang Lang vibrates the lightning from his body. What a shock. Yan Yibai lavishes praise. As a weapon spirit ranked among the top 3 weapon types on the continent, the soul-breaking spear's power stems from the fact that upon reaching level 70, the spirit master possesses a 10,000-year spirit ring. Furthermore, weapon spirits themselves possess the power of a domain, allowing even a soul Douluo to battle a titled Douluo. This unique situation is not an isolated case. From the perspective of racial heritage and special abilities, there's a reason why the 4 major clans, the Destroying Clan, the Agile Clan, the Controlling Clan, and the Strength Clan, can collaborate. These 4 single attribute clans each possess their own unique areas of expertise and secret techniques. For example, the Agile Clan possesses the secret technique of ring replacement, which allows them to discard existing spirit rings and absorb new ones. On the field, Yan Yibai and Yang Lang engaged in a fierce battle. The crowd below was watching with great excitement. Does Patriarch Yang still think that brat is just bragging? Douluo's words were pointed. To be able to fight Yang Lang to this extent, I believe it. The sole master of my Yang family, the soul-breaking spear, is not someone that any ordinary soul master can challenge. Yang Wuda's words were filled with pride for the soul-breaking spear. This kid's combat skills are so proficient, you can tell at a glance that he's been in battle a lot. It's really hard to believe. This kid is only 15, but he's far ahead of his peers in both soul power cultivation and combat experience. Ha. That kid isn't bad, is he? Douluo's lips were almost pouty, but he still looked so stiff. Yang Wudi looked at Yan Yibai on the field and thought of Douluo in the present, and he couldn't help but recall the many rumors about Douluo. Legend has it that Douluo was hunted by the Spirit Hall before he achieved title Douluo status. Others say Douluo and the Spirit Hall's Douluo Yuguan were at odds with each other. Even after becoming a title Douluo, Douluo didn't seek the Spirit Hall's grace from the Pope, and he refused the Spirit Hall's recruitment. On the field, Yan Yibai attacked and harassed with the force of thunder. Third spirit skill, explode. Yang Lang's spear tip suddenly radiated a black light. This spirit skill amplifies attack power to an even more terrifying level. Upon impact, the spirit power unleashes a terrifying explosion, imbuing the spear with even greater destructive power. The eyes of the younger members of the Yang family watching the match lit up, but they struggled to contain their excitement, and many blushed. The spear tip was pitch black, and Yan Yibai sensed a strong sense of danger. However, he did have some understanding of the soul-breaking spear's spirit skills. Breath of thunder. Roar of the thunder dragon. After so many years, Yan Yibai's control of lightning had become so masterful that he could now unleash this move instantly. Danger. 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 Yang Lang's mind kept warning. However, the dark light of Yang Lang's soul-breaking spear and the lightning beam collided without warning. Bang! A massive explosion erupted, centered on Yang language. As Yan Yibai had predicted, the attack exploded upon contact with the soul-breaking spear. Combat isn't just about killing, it's also about strategy and technique. Yang Lang. Yang Da. At this moment, many young members of the soul-breaking clan couldn't help but cry out in worry. Yang Wudi and Douluo didn't move. With their strength, they could easily tell the true situation within. Yang Lang hadn't suffered fatal damage. Since it was a duel, Yan Yibai didn't attempt a sneak attack. After all, this was still someone else's territory. When the smoke and dust cleared, Yang Lang's figure was revealed. He was panting, but he was still standing upright with the soul-breaking spear. Of course, his fourth soul ring was still shining. He had just used the fourth soul skill urgently, so that he could avoid being affected by the explosion. Come on. Yang Lang shouted. Yan Yibai smiled and took a stance. It happened that he had a new trick that he hadn't tried yet. But before the two of them could make too many moves, Yang Wudi appeared on the scene. Yang Wudi, it's just a competition. Stop when it's due. Yang has been refining medicine for many years, and he also has a great interest in poisons. Medicine and poison are inseparable. Your Majesty Douluo, since the competition between the juniors is over, please teach me, Your Majesty Douluo. The next chapter is about pulling the magic grass. Chapter 41 Immortal Treasure Record. The contest between Douluo and Yang Wudi in poison wasn't as intense as the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, but it was certainly no slouch either. After several rounds of competition, Douluo couldn't help but admire Yang Wudi's mastery of medicine and poisons. He cast 5 poisons in quick succession, and Yang Wudi countered 3. At that moment, Douluo, Yibai, and Yang Wudi were heading towards the Poe clan's library. The Poe clan's library had been restored after the Spirit Hall's devastation over a decade earlier. That attack had cost the Poe clan not only many members, but also a significant portion of their heritage. Take a look. Which of these items did you see back then? Yang Wudi quickly approached Yibai, holding a tome neither new nor old. Yang Wudi still valued immortal treasures, so much so that he hardly cared that such knowledge was a privileged resource possessed by a select few. In fact, Yang Wudi was hoping to follow Yibai's lead and make further inquiries, because there's a good chance there's more than one place with rare treasures, and of course, there's only one. He's just betting on that place. Yibai took it and flipped to the first page. Yang Wudi was beside him, and Douluo was also nearby, his arms folded. The first page described a rare treasure called the shark coral flower, a name that suggested it was from the ocean. The second page mentioned the dragon scale jade flower, likely found in places where dragon bones were found. The third page. You've got something good. No wonder you were able to break my poison. Ah. Only then did Yang Wudi abandon his identity as the leader of the Poe clan. His Poe clan claimed to refine medicine, but he, Yang Wudi, was equally obsessed with poison, and the reason behind this was naturally a deep hatred. His Majesty the Poison Douluo's poison is truly extraordinary. Yang Wudi began by praising Douluo. But Your Majesty, all things are interdependent and mutually exclusive. If there's poison, there must be a solution. If I didn't have the right medicine, I wouldn't have been able to remove the remaining poisons. If I could get the rare treasures that boy once had, I'd have a solution not only to these poisons, but even to that little girl's. Perhaps driven by deep affection, Yang Wudi inadvertently revealed that he had seen Douluo Yan's problem. Upon hearing about his granddaughter, Douluo's eyes instantly turned dangerous. Especially after hearing that Yang Wudi had seen through Douluo Yan's poisoning. Douluo's expression turned cold. Yang Wudi sensed that coldness and immediately realized he had been fooled. But this time, he had no reason to give in to Douluo again. He was right, and there was a solution, and perhaps he could even achieve his own goal. HMPH. You mean, as a poison Douluo, I can't cure my granddaughter's poison? Yang Wudi looked at Douluo and thought to himself, he's truly capricious. It's not just that little girl, even Your Majesty, you're probably deeply poisoned. Emerald green hair, emerald green eyes, no one on this continent is born with that. You can tell from your granddaughter, Douluo Yan. Yang Wudi was referring to Douluo Yan's hair, which wasn't completely emerald green like Douluo's. But that little girl has already begun to change in your direction. If this continues, sooner or later she'll. Yang Wudi trailed off, but even without him saying it, Douluo understood. Do you have a solution? Is it the rare treasure that boy you mentioned swallowed? I've said before that all things are born with nature, and they complement and counteract each other. In fact, this little brat is a kind of antidote. His blood. I've found it. That's it. Yibai's voice rang out as Yang Wudi and Douluo stared blankly. Yang Wudi and Douluo decisively abandoned their argument and approached Yibai. Yibai had heard them arguing earlier, and he'd assumed they'd just bicker, not fight. However, he hadn't anticipated Yang Wudi's intentions, forcing him to quicken his search. After skimming past the fiery apricot vegetable delicacy and the 8-angled mysterious ice grass, he found the page describing the 9th grade purple Ganoderma. 9th grade purple Ganoderma. It truly is a 9th grade purple Ganoderma. Whether it was immortal or not depended entirely on the circumstances. If Yang Wudi considered it immortal, then it was. Unlike Yang Wudi's excitement, Douluo's expression was a bit quizzical. I think I've seen this thing before. Douluo's yin yang eyes, as Douluo's herb garden, had explored every area within it and was well aware of its contents. The only problem was that he didn't recognize many of the plants, herbs, and poisons there. What? Your Majesty, you've seen this? Yang Wudi's joy was greater than his shock. Your Majesty, do you remember where you've seen it before? Yang Wudi lost all his rebellious demeanor. Douluo glanced at him. He still found Yang Wudi's earlier rebellious expression more pleasing to the eye. He knew exactly what the other party was planning. He hadn't understood the true effects of the herb before, but now that he knew, how could he be so foolish as to tell anyone else? Douluo ignored him. He looked at Yibai and said, "Kid, let me see the book you have. I'll see if it's the real thing." Yibai obediently handed the book to Douluo. Douluo carefully examined the 9th grade purple Ganoderma in the atlas, taking in every detail. That's definitely it. TSK, TSK, TSK. I didn't expect this thing to have such profound effects. Douluo marveled after confirming it. Only then did he realize that he had missed something he didn't know about for so long. Yang Wudi looked on with a wistful look, but he was also a bit of a sly shrew. He had found the pictures of these immortal treasures, and the annotations were so complete that not a single word was superfluous. That was why he felt so confident in revealing the secrets of the immortal treasures. Douluo continued to flip through the book in his hand with curiosity. Not long after, he let out a ha sound. Yang Wudi felt that something was amiss when he heard Douluo's voice. But before he could ask more, Douluo's expression slowly changed from surprise to seriousness, and he flipped through the book in his hand even faster. Yibai knew it was time to interrupt. "Senior Douluo, have you seen many of the immortal treasures here?" Upon hearing this, Yang Wudi looked at Douluo, anticipating his answer. Douluo finished flipping through the book in his hand, but he didn't answer for the time being, lost in thought. After an unknown amount of time, Douluo's expression relaxed, and he sighed slightly. "That's all. I have indeed seen some of the immortal treasures recorded here. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 42, Possessing a Treasure Mountain Without Knowing It. Douluo's recent struggle was a source of regret. He was frustrated that he possessed a mountain of treasures without even realizing it. Otherwise, he and Douluo would have made significant progress long ago. Douluo also knew that his recent performance had already exposed him, and there was no point in hiding it any longer. He might as well speak out and continue to extract information about these rare treasures from Yang Wudi. At worst, he could just trade one of these rare treasures with Yang Wudi. Douluo had considered snatching them from the Yang family, but considering his granddaughter was still out there, and the subtle threat he sensed from Yang Wudi, he gave up the idea. Receiving Douluo's acknowledgement, Yang Wudi suppressed his ecstasy, and, with a degree of composure, said, "I wonder what rare treasures your majesty has seen. This, and this." Douluo pointed out the fiery apricot, the 8-angled mysterious ice grass, the strange velvet chrysanthemum, the narcissus jade muscle and bone, the Kilo tulip, the 8-petal fairy orchid, the autumn water dew, the blood-colored swan's kiss, and the fragrant Kilo immortal product. But the more he pointed it out, the more his heart ached. "It's the fragrant Kilo immortal item. Your Majesty, have you ever seen this immortal item?" Upon hearing Douluo's fragrant Kilo immortal item, Yang Wudi completely ignored all the immortal items and treasures that had come before. He was practically rubbing his hands in excitement. "I gave you information about this fragrant Kilo immortal item. What can you give me?" Douluo looked at Yang Wudi calmly. "If your majesty can tell me where you've seen the fragrant Kilo immortal item, my entire POE clan owes you a huge favor. We would even fight the spirit hall to fulfill it." Yang Wudi's tone was incredibly serious. Douluo's eyes flickered with satisfaction at Yang Wudi's promise. It was a truly significant promise. However, before he could reply, Yang Wudi added, "If your majesty has it, I will lead the entire POE clan to follow your majesty in exchange for this fragrant Kilo immortal item." Yibai's eyes lit up at this. He knew this would be very useful to Yang Wudi. 2 promises in a row, each more important than the last, left Douluo a little confused. Could this one herb really be worth so much? Clan leader Yang Wudi, is this really worth it to you? Or is this fragrant and beautiful fairy product really worth so much? Your Majesty, this depends on the person. I believe you should also understand the hatred between our Poi clan and the Spirit Hall, and our hatred for the Haoshan sect. But so what? The Spirit Hall is powerful, and the Haoshan sect is not something we can deal with. But I'm unwilling to hide this hatred. Our entire Poi clan is unwilling to do so. We have been gathering strength all these years, so that we can get revenge one day. However, in addition to absolute force, poison is also an effective weapon for us. But we are not, Your Majesty. Making poison means being exposed to it. Not only that, we in the Poi clan are also contaminated by the drugs when we refine medicine. If we really talk about preciousness, perhaps this Yalxiang Kilo immortal product is not as precious as the other immortal products pointed out by Your Majesty, because this Yalxiang Kilo immortal product is the best anti-poison immortal herb. Within its range, any poison has no effect, and its fragrance has the effect of neutralizing all poisons, which can be called the nemesis of all poisons. But, for me, this Yalxiang Kilo immortal product is more important. With it, I don't need to worry about being contaminated by the medicine and poisoned when refining any medicine. With it, many medicines that I didn't dare to try to refine before can be started. Moreover, its fragrance can cause many medicines to mutate and exert greater efficacy. For us, the Poi clan, this thing is a priceless treasure. To be honest, I would be willing to exchange my life for it. So this is the effect of this Yalxiang Kilo immortal product. No wonder every time I see it, there is no poison around it. Yang Wudi paid attention to a key word every time, which means that Douluo may really have the Yalxiang Kilo immortal product in his hand. What about these? Douluo didn't rush to answer Yang Wudi. He pointed again at several other immortal grade treasures he'd chosen. This 8-angled mysterious ice grass and fiery apricot are highly toxic immortal grade herbs, possessing top tier cold and fire poisons, respectively. The strange rich Tangshan chrysanthemum is a neutral immortal grade herb. Consuming it circulates ki to the limbs, circulates blood through the 8 meridians, and cultivates an indestructible body. That's the spirit of the title Douluo and the Spirit Hall, whose spirit is the chrysanthemum. After Yang Wudi finished his introduction, he even pulled a handful of chrysanthemum Douluo Yuguan, whether intentionally or not. Oh, hearing this, Douluo's interest visibly intensified. So that old chrysanthemum spirit is this. Douluo looked at the portrait of the strange rich Tangshan chrysanthemum, a mysterious and meaningful look flickering in his eyes. Because immortal items are rare treasures, one person can only consume one at most. Yang Wudi said, just to be safe. There was a good chance the items belonged to someone else, so there was no need to look for them. He was also worried that Douluo would refuse to trade with him once he realized their preciousness. By the way, the 9th grade purple fungus this kid ate isn't strictly speaking an immortal item. It's at best a top tier herb, but its effects are extraordinary. Douluo cast a subtle glance at Yibai. In his eyes, Yibai was a freak, almost demonic in intelligence. His advice was worth considering. Of course, the most important thing was that Yibai was his approved grandson-in-law. While he might not look at him with displeasure, his approval was genuine. Yibai nodded slightly at Douluo. Are you sure you will be loyal to me and my descendants in the future? I can swear on the honor of my clan. Douluo's eyes flickered with satisfaction. Now, he wasn't alone anymore. The Jianghu had its own rules, and the Douluo continent naturally had its own set of hidden rules. Unless the main family abandons the main family first, any affiliated faction that breaks away from the main family will be scorned by all spirit masters. Kid, tell me why you agreed. That night, Douluo and Yibai sat across from each other. Actually, I never thought I'd be able to get so much out of my trick on clan leader Yang, Yibai said with a helpless smile. I knew you were dishonest, kid. Douluo scolded with a smile. Since Yang Wudi asked that question back then, and he's so concerned about something, it must be something special. Isn't that why he's tricked me out of so much information about herbs? I didn't realize senior Douluo had so many good things. Douluo, I always feel like this kid is hinting at me. Using Yang Wudi's help was a complex matter. First, while he understood the situation, why would Douluo trust his words? Unfounded statements would only arouse Douluo's suspicion. He didn't believe he was the chosen one, someone who would simply believe anything he said. Yin Yang eyes of ice and fire, immortal treasures? How did he learn about something he'd never even seen? Did he approach Douluo with such an intention? Wait, actively exposing himself was a complete trap. Douluo had never liked him before, let alone bringing him the Yin Yang eyes of ice and fire. Secondly, he was attracted by the abilities of the Puyi clan. Chapter 43, The Land of Ice and Fire, Yin Yang eyes of ice and fire. The next day, Douluo met with Yang Wudi again. I see your sincerity. We have some things in common. We are both interested in poisons and we both have a feud with the spirit hall. Your eyes are very sharp. Although I'm known as the supreme poison master, I truly can't control my own poison. I don't ask you to cure my poison, but I don't want my granddaughter to follow in my footsteps. You should know what I mean. Without immortal treasures, I'd only have a 40% chance of success, but with these, I'd have a 90% chance. But if it's your majesty, your body has been tainted by poison for so many years. I only have a 40% chance of healing at best. Even if I can't, it's enough to alleviate your pain. Yang Wudi hesitated to be too confident. If it's poison, is it possible to force the poison into something like a snake, like a venomous sac? Yibai interjected. For a spirit master, what item could possibly contain such a massive and potent toxin? Soul bones will do. Yang Wudi said, boy, you're so audacious. You don't understand the value of spirit bones, do you? But if it's spirit bones, it certainly works. However, spirit bones are worth as much as these top grade herbs, and they're hard to come by. Douluo replied, if there's a way, then that's fine. 10,000-year spirit bones aren't easy to come by, but 1,000-year spirit bones still offer a chance. It just takes more time. I do have the fragrant and beautiful immortal item you're talking about. I can give it to you. Then my Puyi clan will follow his majesty from now on, Yang Wudi declared. And just like that, Douluo and his companions returned to the Heaven Dao Empire with another member, Yang Wudi. After a month, they arrived at Heaven Dao City again. Oscar, Douluo, and Yang Wudi remained in Heaven Dao City. Douluo then traveled to Sunset Forest with Yibai. Boy, listen carefully. If I ever find out you've let my Yan down, I will never let you go. Douluo said calmly as he flew through the air with Yibai, his gaze fixed on the horizon. The word boy signaled that Douluo was officially verifying his identity. Douluo led Yibai through the Sunset Forest, eventually arriving at a region shrouded in poisonous fog. Surprisingly, plants still survived beneath the fog. Those plants were the 7 absolutes of the green scale flower. Douluo waved his hand, and the fog dissipated. Deeper within, darkness descended. It was a cliff, though faint glimpses of red and blue could be seen through it. Descending, one discovered a valley. The valley itself was a world apart. Within it lay a dual-colored hot spring. Within the oval pool, the water was a milky white and a vermilion red. Even more bizarre, although within the same pool, the water remained distinct, neither encroaching upon the other, always remaining on its own side. The environment here. Is this your secret base, senior? Yibai said to Douluo, looking at the yin yang eyes of ice and fire. Yes, this is a place I stumbled upon by chance. Back then, there were many poisons here, and I felt very comfortable staying here, so it became my medicine garden. He's just possessing a mountain of treasures without even realizing it. Yibai grumbled inwardly. The yin-yang eyes of ice and fire not only nourish creatures, but also have extremely special benefits for the human body. If a human or animal lives near the yin-yang eyes, their bodies will be quickly overwhelmed by the 2 extreme spiritual energies of heaven and earth. If they can't leave in time, they will inevitably explode and die. This is why Douluo never brings Douluo here. As for Yibai, with his blow lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex spirit, his physical fitness is exceptional. Of course, there's a reason Douluo wants to test Yibai. After all, in Douluo's eyes, Yibai is almost like a bodyguard protecting Douluo, and a bodyguard naturally needs more training. This completely disregards his grandson-in-law as a grandson-in-law. But for someone like Douluo, who is prone to poison, this kind of place is extremely beneficial. Extreme heat and extreme cold have a suppressive effect on poisons. And the place where the yin-yang eye of ice and fire is located has an extremely strong suppressive effect on poisons. Otherwise, all kinds of rare plants would never be allowed to grow here at the same time. As the two of them went deeper, Yibai gradually saw those immortal treasures. The more he saw, the more excited Yibai became. Finally, he saw what he coveted the most, the only two immortal products that soul masters could swallow together, the fiery apricot and the 8-angled mysterious ice grass. In his eyes, the fiery apricot and the 8-angled mysterious ice grass were not immortal products at all. They were 10,000-year-old black spirit rings. Kid, don't get too close. Even I'm wary of the poison of those two plants. Senior Debu, that's right, they're all here. The fragrant Douluo immortal product, the 8-petaled immortal orchid, the Douluo tulip, the narcissus jade muscle and bone, and the wonderful sky-reaching chrysanthemum. 9 in total. Excellent. Douluo's face was pleased. This meant he'd still have some left after using them all, allowing Douluo's descendants to continue improving their talents. Yes, Douluo had thought this far. Following Yang Wudi's instructions, Douluo collected the fragrant Douluo immortal product, the Douluo tulip, the 8-petaled immortal orchid, and the narcissus jade muscle and bone. He then placed the 4 immortal treasures into his own storage soul guide, which could hold fresh herbs. The remaining ones were the fiery apricot delicate tree, the 8-angled mysterious ice grass, the longing for the autumn water dew, the wonderful sky-reaching chrysanthemum, and the blood-red swan's kiss. He then looked at Yibai. Boy, are you going back with me first, or are you waiting here? The hidden meaning in Douluo's words was clear. He could use any of the remaining immortal treasures. In fact, Douluo had only left 2 immortal treasures for Yibai, the wonderful sky-reaching chrysanthemum and the autumn water dew. As for the blood-colored swan's kiss, it was simply because Douluo didn't dare touch it at all. He was poisoned and would die if he touched it. Douluo felt that the wonderful sky-reaching chrysanthemum was the most suitable for Yibai, as Yibai's martial soul was a variant of the blow-lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex. The wonderful sky-reaching chrysanthemum was a neutral immortal herb. Consuming it circulated ki to the limbs, circulated blood to the 8 meridians, and cultivated an indestructible body. Yibai's soul power was powerful and domineering, but it also had a hint of weakness in his hands. Yibai's combat was mostly based on his hands and feet. The stronger his body, the stronger he would be. Originally, Douluo had intended to keep the Kirang-Tangshan chrysanthemum for himself. While it wasn't the most suitable, it would be the best way to disgust Douluo Yuguan. However, he later thought that Yibai was the most suitable, and Yibai was his approved grandson-in-law, who would also disgust the rotten chrysanthemum. Through Yang Wudi, he could imagine how much the rotten chrysanthemum longed for what he held. Yibai said, ice and fire energy can temper the body. Thank you, Senior Debu, for giving me this opportunity. Don't wander around or touch anything. There are some poisonous herbs here that even I haven't been able to identify. Douluo warned Yibai and left. After Douluo left, Yibai carefully examined the fiery apricot and the 8-angled mysterious ice grass. It was known that the 2 extremely poisonous herbs could be used together, and the final effect was particularly effective, which naturally made it a better choice. Whether it was an invulnerable constitution or immunity to ice and fire, both were extremely beneficial to a spirit master. Yibai sat next to the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, and began to practice. He needed to adapt to the environment here first. Chapter 44, Mutual Growth and Mutual Restraint, Ice and Fire Adventure, Physical Training and Soul Enhancement. With everything ready, Yibai took a deep breath, slowly stretched out his hands, and, following the unique picking technique he'd learned from Yang Wudi, carefully plucked the fiery apricot and the icy blue 8 aniseed mysterious ice grass. He wore specially crafted jade gloves, translucent and radiant with a warm sheen, temporarily shielding him from the fire and ice poisons. The interplay of fiery red and icy blue light reflected on his face, imbuing him with a certain fortitude. He gripped the fiery apricot in his left hand, the 8 aniseed mysterious ice grass in his right. A blazing heat instantly penetrated his jade gloves, seemingly scorching his soul. A piercing chill shot through his heart. Yibai gritted his teeth, thinking to himself, these are truly highly poisonous immortal herbs. Even these things I've prepared wouldn't be able to withstand them for even 5 breaths. He didn't dare to delay and quickly brought the 2 immortal herbs together. The moment the fiery apricot and the 8-angled mysterious ice grass came into contact, their auras began to counteract each other. The intense heat and bitter cold seemed to find a balance. Yibai felt the surging ki and blood within him calm slightly, but the sense of urgency within him remained undiminished. He knew he couldn't hesitate at this moment. While the 2 herbs would be restrained by each other's auras upon their fusion, this balance would be extremely short-lived. After 10 breaths, their effects would completely disappear. Yibai's gaze was resolute, and with a gritted teeth, he swallowed both herbs together. Though the fiery apricot and the 8-angled mysterious ice grass were fiercely toxic, after being mutually restrained, they became incredibly docile, melting in his mouth, transforming into saliva that flowed slowly down his throat. Yibai felt his tongue well up, a delicate fragrance spreading throughout his body, as if he were immersed in a sea of flowers, a sense of peace and tranquility. However, this fleeting comfort was short-lived. As the 2 immortal herbs entered his body, Yibai felt a fusion of searing heat and bitter cold, as if thousands of sharp swords were tearing at his flesh. His face flickered between blue and red, and his blood surged, as if ready to break free from its shackles and burst forth. Yibai sat cross-legged on the ground, forming hand seals with his hands, and began silently refining the 2 immortal herbs. He closed his eyes and concentrating on directing the energy within him. However, the agony of this intertwined icy and fiery experience was almost unbearable. He clenched his teeth, and beads of sweat, the size of beans, rolled down his forehead, dripping onto the ground with a crisp sound. 3 breaths passed in a flash, and Yibai's body suddenly trembled violently. Then, a layer of icy blue rose from beneath his feet, completely enveloping him in the blink of an eye. Then, another layer of red rose, enveloping him tightly. Yibai now looked like a freshly cooked shrimp, a strange, alternating red and blue hue. He silently endured the pain, continuing to refine the immortal herbs within his body. Time ticked by, the torment of alternating cold and heat nearly tormenting him to the point of collapse. He clenched his teeth, clenching his fists, veins bulging as if he wanted to vent all the pain into them. Finally, Yibai felt his body had reached its limit. While he still had some control over his body, he took a deep breath, staggered to his feet, and took a step forward. Ahead lay the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, his destination. Yibai closed his eyes and, without hesitation, leaped toward the confluence of the extremely cold yin spring and the blazing yang spring. With a splash, he was completely submerged in the water in an instant. He hadn't plunged into the water immediately after consuming the 2 immortal herbs, because he was well aware of the power of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. Only after the 2 immortal herbs had fully taken effect could he harness their extreme cold and heat to temper his body. Otherwise, even a moment earlier, he would have been wiped out after falling into the 2-tone springs. Plunging into these 2 springs of intense cold and blazing heat was a life or death test for Yibai. The key to this test lay in the 2 immortal herbs he held, the fiery apricot and the 8-angled mysterious ice grass. These 2 herbs allowed him to overcome the bottleneck and find a breakthrough on the brink of death. Although the 2 energies of ice and fire had been neutralized before, they stirred wildly once again upon entering his body. The medicinal power contained in those immortal herbs was terrifying, and the instantaneous energy shockwave from the conflicting forces of ice and fire nearly knocked him unconscious. An unknown amount of time passed before, at some point, a figure burst forth from the center of the 2-tone springs, splashing both the extremely cold and blazing water. It was Yibai, completely naked, his figure looking much better, more robust, his muscles defined by perfectly defined lines. Furthermore, Yibai's left arm bore a red, flaming pattern, while his right featured an icy blue pattern. This revealed a profound transformation in his bloodline and martial spirit. Yibai wasn't sure exactly how much, having previously set his spirit guide aside, as it would have been unable to withstand the terrifying power of the ice and fire spring. Aren't they here yet? I seem quite fast. My physical strength to receive the 10,000 year spirit ring has already been sufficient after reaching level 40 of spirit power. Now, I need to enhance my mental strength to withstand the impact of the 10,000 year spirit ring's remnant. Yibai glanced at the immortal item Wangchuan Kyushulu. Elsewhere, when Douluo presented the Yalxiang Kilo immortal item to Yang Wudi was genuinely thrilled. He felt as if he were dreaming. The treasure his Poi clan had sought for centuries, yet was actually being fulfilled in his generation, a dream passed down by their ancestors. Even if Yang Wudi of the Poi clan didn't join Douluo, he was prepared to establish his own sect by uniting with the other 4 single attribute sects. He didn't care who became the sect leader, his 2 goals were to conquer the Spirit Hall and the Clear Sky sect. Therefore, he felt no psychological burden in joining Douluo's ranks, having already prepared for this. Yang Wudi carefully accepted the fragrant and elegant immortal item Douluo offered him. From now on, the Poi clan will be at the mercy of your majesty. Has your majesty ever considered establishing a new sect? TSK. I'm not interested in the spotlight. If my granddaughter and that brat want to establish a new sect, you can follow them. Judging by the current situation, that brat will achieve great things. And he certainly has the ambition, Douluo said, thinking of Yibai. Yang Wudi didn't reply, but he agreed with Douluo that Yibai had the ambition and the qualifications. Yang Wudi thought to himself, perhaps this choice will truly allow the Poi clan to fulfill their wish for revenge. Douluo holds the foundation, 3 titled Douluo seeds, and now with our Poi clan and Douluo as their backing, once these talented young people grow up, it's possible we could create a legendary clan with multiple Douluos. Chapter 45 Humanoid Medicine. Have you figured out how to detoxify it? We have a plan. Your Majesty, the poison in your granddaughter's body isn't serious, but I'll need to spend some time gathering some herbs. No thanks, it's a waste of time. Douluo only wanted to rid his granddaughter, Douluo, of the toxins as soon as possible. Come with me. Douluo prepared to take Yang Wudi to his herb garden, the Yin Yang Eye of Ice and Fire. Douluo had previously harvested some of the Yin Yang Eyes, and he thought he had already secured the valuable medicinal herbs, so he boldly let Yang Wudi go. Douluo didn't value the Yin Yang Eyes as much as he had imagined. In the past, he relied on the environment of the Yin Yang Eyes to suppress the spread of the toxins in his body. Now that he had a solution, his minds had naturally changed. He had also thoroughly inquired about the reputation of the Poi clan. They were excellent, loyal but not blindly loyal. By the time Douluo and Yang Wudi arrived at the Yin Yang Eyes, the place was much emptier than before Douluo left. Yet, even so, Yang Wudi's eyes lit up the moment he laid eyes on the Yin Yang Eyes of Ice and Fire. This. Yang Wudi's voice trembled with excitement as he gazed in disbelief at the bizarre world before him. The Yin Yang Eyes of Ice and Fire, a naturally formed wonderland, one half blazing like a volcanic crater, the other icy, seemingly frozen, as if capable of freezing everything. These 2 opposing forces converged here, yet miraculously maintained a delicate balance. This is the legendary land of Ice and Fire, a match made in heaven, a rare sight, a perfect environment for plant growth. Yang Wudi exclaimed, his eyes gleaming with a passionate pursuit of the finest medicinal herbs. As a pharmacist, he knew only too well how many rare herbs such an environment could produce, each potentially a treasure capable of detoxifying or enhancing one's power. No wonder there's poisonous fog everywhere outside, and the nearly invisible Jade Scale 7 absolute flowers. Yet, within, there's a whole other world. Poisonous fog is practically non-existent. This place of ice and fire, its extreme environment, is incredibly resistant to poison. Douluo, observing this, felt a surge of pride, yet was also somewhat surprised by Yang Wudi's reaction. He'd thought his cherishment of this herb garden was already supreme, but he hadn't expected anyone to be even more impressed. Yes, this is my private herb garden, the Yin Yang Eye of Ice and Fire. Yang Wudi, with these herbs, could you possibly cure my granddaughter's poison? This place is inaccessible to ordinary people. Perhaps only your majesty can enter and exit normally. This is a chance your majesty deserves. Yang Wudi began to slowly pace around the Yin Yang Eye of Ice and Fire, each step seemingly capturing the rhythm of the world. His gaze swept over the bizarre plants, Some had leaves as crimson as flames, others had roots as translucent as ice, and still others had fruits emitting a faint glow, like the brightest stars in the night sky. Each of the medicinal herbs here contains the purest energy in heaven and earth. They are truly extraordinary. Yang Wudi finally spoke, his tone tinged with awe. To cure your granddaughter's poison, I need several specific herbs. It seems this place should have what I need. As he spoke, Yang Wudi followed Douluo, his gaze fixed on the various herbs nearby, and he couldn't help but whisper their names. Blazing grass, ice heart fruit. Yang Wudi listed the herbs as he walked, his eyes gleaming with the joy of discovering a treasure. Snow silkworm, cinnabar lotus, 10,000 years ginseng king. The deeper they went into the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, the rarer the precious herbs became. This included the 10,000 years ginseng king that Yibai hadn't kept. It wasn't until they approached the ice and fire spring that they noticed Yibai sitting beside it. Douluo nodded in satisfaction at Yibai's diligent cultivation. But when he looked towards the spot where the fiery apricot and 8-angled mysterious ice grass had been, his eyes widened. Where's the thing? Yang Wudi followed Douluo's gaze and spotted the remaining roots on either side of the ice and fire spring. He examined the roots, feeling something familiar. After a while, Yang couldn't recognize them anymore. It's the fiery apricot and 8-angled mysterious ice grass. How come only the roots are left? Clan leader Yang, senior Douluo. Yibai had already awakened from his training when Douluo and Yang Wudi approached. Douluo, boy, where did you hide the thing? Wait. Yang Wudi quickly approached Yibai. He first looked at him, then grabbed his hand and began to feel his pulse. After a moment, Yang Wudi looked at Yibai with a complicated expression. Did you eat the fiery apricot and 8-anise mysterious ice grass? Though these two extremely poisonous immortal herbs are overpowering, once neutralized, they can indeed become valuable treasures that can be absorbed by the human body. Yang Wudi had been in possession of the immortal treasures record for so many years, so he naturally knew that there were ways to consume these two poisonous immortal herbs. Yibai, I simply memorized what clan leader Yang said in the immortal treasures record. Embrace the yin and guard the yang. These fiery apricot and 8-anise mysterious ice grass live close together, and they naturally complement and counteract each other. Separately, they each possess a potent toxicity, but when combined, they counteract each other. You're quite courageous, boy. While using these two immortal poisonous herbs together can counteract each other, the pain caused by the extreme heat and cold is real, and their overwhelming power is unbearable for ordinary people. The stronger the storm, the more valuable the fish, isn't it, clan leader Yang? Yibai said with a smile. That's true. You've reaped a great reward from these two immortal herbs. Grown in a land of both ice and fire, after consuming them, your body should be immune to most poisons. Perhaps even ice and fire are no longer a threat to you. But consuming the fiery apricot and 8-angled mysterious ice grass is also a surprising bonus. Your Majesty, now I have a better grasp of the poison in your body. Oh, what do you mean? This kid is now a human medicine, Yang Wudi said jokingly, pointing at Yibai. He combines the medicinal properties of the fiery apricot and 8-angled mysterious ice grass, and also eliminates the fire and ice poisons of the two highly toxic immortal herbs. His blood can be used as medicine to aid your Majesty's treatment. Douluo glanced at Yibai in surprise. Over the next few days, Yang Wudi began to refine the antidote using the local environment and various medicinal herbs. With the fragrant kilo immortal herbs, Yang Wudi was no longer afraid of any poison, so his refining skills were now quite handy. Douluo and Yibai left. As usual, Douluo only cared so much about the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. Besides, Douluo and Yibai had already collected all the goodies here, and the remaining items were mostly what they wanted to leave for Yang Wudi. Yibai had also told Douluo, don't employ a man you doubt, and don't doubt a man you employ. Douluo left Yibai at the outskirts of Sunset Forest, and left him alone. He had more important things to attend to. Yibai watched Douluo return to Sunset Forest and silently mourned for the spirit beasts for 3 minutes. Yibai's time card was relatively accurate. The enrollment period for advanced spirit master academies across the continent was still 2 months away. Busy man, you're back. Douluo heard a noise behind her. She turned to see Yibai, and a smile spread across her face. Yibai approached Douluo, his large hands resting on her hair. "You've gained weight." Yibai whispered. "How did you gain weight? You're so disrespectful. I'm a year older than you." Douluo raised her white tender fist. "It feels like I haven't seen you in just over 10 days, and you've grown quite a bit taller." Douluo said, standing up and comparing. "You've really grown taller. What did you eat?" Yibai didn't respond directly to Douluo. "Yanzi, I have something to do, and I'll be out for a while. After Senior Douluo finishes your work, we'll go get spirit rings together." "So mysterious. Come on, walk with me. It's Milner. I wonder how many people will envy me after this walk." Hahaha. Yibai left that night. Before leaving, he personally left 3 items for Douluo. One of his blood, one of the acacia heartbreak red, and one of the kilo tulip. Meanwhile, Yibai had wasted some time traveling to the western province of Fasno and the Heaven Da Empire. By the time he arrived in Notting City as a merchant, the 6th grade of the Junior Spirit Master Academy there was about to graduate. Sometime later, he, who lived across from the Junior Soul Master Academy in Notting City, saw the boy and girl waving goodbye to a middle-aged man. The root cause of the cholera continent, the youngest son of the Yuanzhen clan leader, Uzia gang. "I'm on the 2nd round, so let's celebrate a little." Chapter 46. The right leg bone of the 100,000 years Blue Silver Emperor. They've left, and it's time. He was certain the man was nearby. Yibai waited a day before launching his attack. His target was the mountain range behind Holy Soul Village. Since Tang Heo had stayed in Holy Soul Village, given the infatuated nature of this man, he wouldn't stray too far from his lover. Yibai raced to the back hills and soon spotted a mountain range. Mountain range. That small inch-long piece of land must be within these mountains. It's the only place like this that ordinary people wouldn't even consider visiting. Puff. A burst of energy erupted from Yibai, bending the surrounding trees and flowers. Yibai's soul power had surged from absorbing the power of the fiery apricot and the 8-angled mysterious ice grass, and he hadn't had time to control the sudden surge of energy. Under the surge of this energy, 2 dazzling rays of light suddenly appeared from behind Yibai. One was a fiery red, like the blazing sun in the sky, blazing with intensity. The other was a deep, dark blue, like an icy abyss, chilling and biting. The 2 intertwined, gradually coalescing into a pair of transparent mysterious dragon wings, gently flapping the air around them with a subtle yet powerful sound. This was another incredible benefit bestowed upon Yibai by the fiery apricot and 8-angled mysterious ice grass. The yin-yang eye of ice and fire, where the fiery apricot and 8-angled mysterious ice grass grew, was the burial place of the ice and fire dragon king. Over countless ages, it had absorbed his supremely pure bloodline and power. Yibai, a descendant of the dragon clan, found the benefits of integrating the power of these 2 immortal herbs far beyond his wildest dreams. It was a miracle, where the sum of one was greater than the other. Nourished by this power, his bloodline and power underwent unprecedented sublimation and transformation. Such soul-powered dragon wings weren't just external soul bones, but even better than them, because they evolved from bloodlines, a level only achieved when a bloodline has reached a certain level. Of course, this transformation and improvement wasn't simply about flight. Yibai's mind moved, and the dragon wings behind him wiggled, allowing him to soar. Time passed slowly, and his dedication paid off. He finally found that tiny spot. There's the sound of water crashing against rocks in the mountains. Looks like I've found it. He continued to follow the sound, cautiously trying to leave no trace. Although he longed to take the Blue Silver Emperor with him, he knew that wasn't wise. Soon, Yibai arrived. The sound was still above him, and before him was a steep cliff. Using his soul power, Yibai ascended rapidly, feeling the air grow increasingly humid. Finally, Yibai saw a pool of water. The water was crystal clear, serene and deep, like a giant sapphire. On one side of the valley, a waterfall, about 20 meters wide, stretched like a jade belt across a nearly 200-meter high cliff. The resounding roar was the result of its impact on the pool. The cascade crashed down, sending countless splashes of water flying. Illuminated by the sunlight, a long multicolored rainbow stretched across the water, an indescribable brilliance. We are here. Surrounded by mountains, a verdant landscape. Before him lay rippling sapphires and the majestic waterfall, stretching from sky to earth. Young Yibai retrieved the item he had prepared long ago. It was intended to dispel his aura, and had other effects. After a while, young Yibai emerged, quickly leaving this troubled area. It seemed he had gained something. After wandering extensively for over half a month, young Yibai finally found the nearest city. Inside his room, he opened the metal box he had found. A single, powerful aura emanated from him. While it felt oppressive with soul power, it was surprisingly gentle and not overbearing. This flowing breath of life brought a sense of comfort to young Yibai. The thing in the box was a right leg bone. Among the 6 great spirit bones, the right leg bone was undoubtedly ranked low. Yet, this right leg bone looked so different. It emanated a faint blue light, overflowing with vitality. The entire bone was a crystal clear blue gold, with tiny sparkles of starlight glittering within. Delicate lines flowed across the surface of the leg bone, each one like a condensation of natural forces, revealing a mysterious aura. This spirit bone was complete. Even with just the naked eye, one could sense its supreme attributes. A thrilling heart, trembling hands. Spirit bones were rare to begin with, let alone one of 100,000-year-old level. The right leg bone of the 100,000-year blue silver emperor. Superb recovery abilities, exceptional endurance, and speed. Young Yibai was referring to the two-soul abilities of the 100,000-year blue silver emperor's right leg bone. One ability grants the soul master powerful flight, with speed and endurance determined entirely by the strength of their soul power. The other, wildfires cannot extinguish, spring breezes bring new life, grants the soul master rapid healing and powerful vitality, rendering them virtually immortal unless fatally injured. Regardless, this was a top-tier soul bone. In a time when 100,000-year overlord level soul beasts were rare, 100,000-year spirit rings and bones were the dream of every soul master. Naturally, there was no need to hesitate. Young Yibai sat cross-legged on the bed and began absorbing the 100,000-year blue silver emperor's right leg bone. Young Yibai placed it on his right leg. A gentle humming sound echoed. Young Yibai could feel the intense pain of the initial fusion of his soul bone. After enduring the pain of refining the fiery apricot and the 8-angled mysterious ice grass, this little pain was nothing. Soon, however, an invisible, refreshing aura emanated from the soul bone. The crystal blue soul bone quietly vanished, transforming into countless streams of blue gold air that permeated his right leg. It was cool and comfortable, without any obstruction, without any pain, and even filled with comfort, as if he were stepping his right leg into the azure ocean. Streams of warm energy flowed from his right leg bone, gradually merging with his entire body. Young Yibai could clearly feel the changes in his body, every cell cheering with joy, as if welcoming this powerful force. As this warm energy continued to penetrate, young Yibai felt as if his right leg was enveloped by a mysterious force, becoming stronger and more flexible than ever before. Under the influence of this power, young Yibai's ki and blood became incredibly vigorous, and he could clearly feel the surge of his vitality. He took a deep breath, as if he could absorb more vitality from heaven and earth, making his body fuller and stronger. Chapter 47. Bailing Ice Poison Dragon, Frost Thunder Dragon. The soul bone absorption process lasted a day and a night. The next day, young Yibai opened his eyes, feeling refreshed and relaxed. This time, I can extend the lifespan of my 4th soul ring a little more, young Yibai muttered to himself. By the time I get back, Yanzi should be fine too. Having absorbed the soul bone, young Yibai no longer needed to stay in this small town. Over here, in a corner of Xiandao City. Today is the 3rd day. Yang Wudi took the refined detoxification pill. Du Guyan took the pill and swallowed it in one gulp. I feel like the taste of this pill is a little familiar. Du Guyan frowned slightly. Grandpa, did you add dragon blood to this pill? Here, it's this type. Du Guyan took out the bottle of dragon blood young Yibai had left for her. It was empty now. She had already drunk the blood inside. Yang Wudi took it. Since he was the one who made the medicine, he knew he hadn't added any dragon blood. Yang Wudi fanned the bottle's mouth, and the scent of blood wafted into his nose. He sniffed the familiar aroma and laughed. Ha 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 ha, this isn't dragon blood at all. It's clearly that brat's own blood. Du Gubo, his spirit is the blue lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex, so calling it dragon blood isn't an exaggeration. He's quite generous. It wasn't easy for me to get a bottle of this blood from him back then. What are you talking about? This blood isn't from the dragon clan. It's from Yibai. He's been very good to you. Huh. Douluo Yan was shocked. But I think it tastes pretty good. What should I do? What else could he do? He could just hold it and sip it. When Yibai returned, the small town Yibai had been staying in wasn't far from Xiandao City, but he had never been there and didn't know where it was. So, it took Yibai 2 days to get back to Xiandao City. When Yibai returned to Lanba Academy, he only saw Oscar. Oscar, what's your soul power level now? I'm not that talented. I just broke through to level 33 a while ago. Yibai, level 33. Where's your sister Yan? She's been picked up by Senior Debu. Yibai understood. Yang Wudi had already refined the antidote to Douluo Yan's condition. Here you go. Yibai pulled out the long prepared immortal 8-petaled orchid from his soul guide and handed it to Oscar. Indeed, the soul guide in Yibai's hand was Douluo's own soul guide, the Ruai treasure bag, which could store living things. By this point, Douluo could clearly see that Yibai had orchestrated this whole series of events. Finding Yang Wudi did indeed give him the antidote and a family member. Douluo kept the Kirang Tangshan chrysanthemum for himself and packed up the rest for Yibai. He knew he needed these items far more than he did. Consider it his early investment in his grandson-in-law. Originally, Douluo had given Yibai the Kirang Tangshan Dew, a celestial treasure that truly suited him. But Yibai had his own preferences, so he had no choice but to take care of the nausea chrysanthemum guan himself. However, the 8-petal fairy orchid was indeed the most suitable for Oscar. For a food-based spirit master like him, the 8-petal fairy orchid had the mildest and most mellow medicinal properties, making it easily absorbed and effective in strengthening the body and removing impurities. What is this? The 8-petal fairy orchid, a top-grade herb that can aid your cultivation. Boss, okay, go eat. Don't bother me. He did have business to attend to. After sending Oscar into the inner room, he retrieved a number of books from his spirit guide, mostly related to spirit beasts. He had obtained them from Yang Wudi. The Poue clan had a longer heritage than Douluo and had more experience with poisonous spirit beasts than Douluo, so their encyclopedia on poisonous spirit beasts was naturally more extensive. At this moment, Yibai was attempting to find some sub-dragon soul beasts suitable for Douluo Yan. The bone-eroding spirit dragon, a rare sub-dragon soul beast, possessed powerful toxicity and corrosive abilities. Ancient texts describe its venom as capable of corroding the bones of its enemies, posing a significant threat even to powerful soul masters. The bone-eroding spirit dragon doesn't seem promising. This soul beast is more suited to poison-based aggressive soul masters, Yibai continued. This one seems promising. The Bailing Ice Poison Dragon. According to the text, the Bailing Ice Poison Dragon was an extremely rare sub-dragon soul beast. Not only was it highly toxic, it could also release icy cold air during battle, poisoning its opponents, while also enduring the harsh cold. This soul beast's spirit ring would undoubtedly provide Douluo Yan's Jade Phosphorus Emperor martial spirit with a powerful combination of control and offensive abilities. Yibai carefully reviewed every bit of information about the Bailing Ice Poison Dragon, including its habits, habitat, and the difficulty of capturing it. Netherworld Poison Dragon. TSK. I almost thought it was a real dragon. Not long after, Yibai discovered a soul beast called the Netherworld Poison Dragon in another book. The Netherworld Poison Dragon, an extremely rare sub-dragon soul beast, possesses powerful toxicity and dark power. The book states that this soul beast's poison can not only erode a soul master's soul power, but also their mind. Its dark power can create a suffocating darkness during battle, plunging the opponent into confusion and panic. This soul beast is likely to provide a soul master with a soul skill that combines both poison and spiritual attributes. The Yang family's collection of poisonous soul beasts is of very high quality. This trip to the north gives us a lot more options. Yes, the north. Yibai's target soul beast is a sub-dragon soul beast with both ice and thunder attributes, the Frost Thunder Dragon. This extremely rare soul beast often inhabits inaccessible, extremely cold, and thunder-stricken areas, making it extremely difficult to capture. It is a sub-dragon earth dragon that can combine ice, snow, and thunderstorms. Now that Yun Yibei's martial spirit was no longer inferior to the lightning element, his options were even more diverse. Furthermore, amplifying a 10,000-year-old spirit skill would seem a bit of a loss. Furthermore, he didn't really need amplified spirit power anymore. The issues plaguing his talent and cultivation speed had been resolved. Whether it was the spirit power restoration and vitality restoration from the 100,000-year-old blue silver emperor's right leg bone, or the ultimate upgrades from the fiery apricot and 8-angled mysterious ice grass, they had already satisfied his initial needs for spirit power and physical fitness. Chapter 48 Douluo Yan, Level 50. 3 days later, Douluo Yan returned to Lanba Academy. Upon her return, Douluo Yan wanted Asuka to ask Yun Yibai if he had returned. However, Yun Yibai had already noticed the noise outside. Asuka hadn't yet finished absorbing the 8-petal fairy orchid, so Yun Yibai left first. "You're back. Looks like I don't need to look for Zoao anymore." Douluo Yan's eyes softened upon seeing Yun Yibai. "Guess what I got?" Douluo Yan approached Yun Yibai, leaning forward slightly, looking up at him with a smile on her face. Perhaps Douluo Yan's happiness had rubbed off on Yun Yibai, for a smile slowly curled up his lips. "It seems you already know. Now, Senior Douluo finally doesn't have to worry about you anymore." "Ah." Douluo Yan listened to Yun Yibai's words, feeling that his answer didn't match her question. She raised her hand to touch her forehead, a look of helplessness on her face. "Why did I fall for you, a wooden idiot? Is it because of my looks?" Douluo Yan muttered to herself after a moment. Am I wrong?" Yun Yibai thought Douluo Yan was happy because the poison had completely lifted. HMPH. Douluo Yan feigned a cold snort, then said, "Have you forgotten what you gave me? Never mind, you're so focused on cultivation all day long, it's a rare thing for you to remember me." Yun Yibai then watched Douluo Yan pull out a gorgeous, vibrant, golden red flower from her bosom, a breathtaking sight. The flower was palm-sized, shaped like a peony, without the blades. Yun Yibai naturally recognized it, as it was the acacia heartbreak red he had personally given Douluo Yan. However, seeing that the acacia heartbreak red's petals were red, not white, Yun Yibai's pupils widened, and his mouth unconsciously opened wide. Yun Yibai usually maintained a composed demeanor, but this expression revealed the depth of his shock. Heartbroken Love Red is a divine and precious immortal herb, capable of bringing back the dead and turning bones into flesh. This flower also has a touching love story. Long ago, there lived a young man, a quiet soul who loved to tend trees and plants. On his deathbed, he shed his blood on the petals of a peony, instantly transforming it into grass. The pristine white petals were stained with the youth's blood, hence the name Heartbroken Love Red. This is why this flower is considered the king of immortal herbs. However, spiritual objects choose their masters, and it's not something one can obtain simply by wishing. When picking Heartbroken Love Red, one must think of their beloved, with sincere heartfelt care, and sprinkle a drop of their heart's blood on the petals. Even if they hesitate, they will vomit blood and die, never to be able to pluck the flower. As the king of immortal herbs, its effects are undeniable. Consuming this herb grants immortality equal to heaven and earth, increasing soul power by at least 10 levels, and completely transforming the body, capable of bringing back the dead, and turning bones into flesh, effectively granting a second life. When Yun Yibai obtained the acacia heartbreak red, which Douluo hadn't even known about, he'd considered giving it to Douluo Yan. However, he wasn't sure Douluo Yan would succeed, so he gave her the Kilo tulip along with it. The Kilo tulip wasn't bad either, growing in the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, also known as Xiangxiang. Its true form is the king of immortal herbs. It can discern the characteristics of all spiritual creatures in heaven and earth, command them, and possess all abilities related to scent. Its fragrance can even alter a person's aura, reducing the combat power of all plant-type spirit beasts in its presence by half. Consuming it absorbs the essence of heaven and earth, the radiance of the sun and moon, and may even promote the evolution of Douluo Yan's martial spirit. It was precisely because Douluo Yan succeeded that Yun Yibai was surprised. The requirements for obtaining the acacia heartbreak red were extremely high. After nearly 4 years of companionship and 2 years of love, Yibai hadn't initially believed Yan would be exclusively with him. But the reality was that Yan was destined to be exclusively with him. This was something he hadn't anticipated. He gave her the Kilo tulip because he felt he couldn't meet such stringent requirements. Are you silly, Yibai? Yan was delighted. Yibai's willingness to give her the acacia heartbreak red proved he was thinking of her. While she was a little annoyed that he'd given her the second choice, the Kilo tulip, as a precaution, that didn't matter. Yibai's silent care made her feel she had excellent taste. Yes, silly. Yibai laughed. But silly people have their own luck. I'm not silly, so how could you be silly? Yibai immediately put his arm around Yan's waist. Yan leaned against Yibai's broad chest. Looks like I'll have to rely on Sister Douluo from now on. Ha 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 ha. Yan's soul power had actually reached level 40 some time ago. Shortly after Yibai's departure, Yan had consumed the bottle of dragon blood he'd left behind. Yibai's blood not only detoxified, but also had numerous other beneficial properties, naturally helping Yan reach level 40. 2 days later, Oscar emerged from confinement. Yan absorbed the acacia heartbroken red faster than Oscar, taking no time at all. Oscar exclaimed, boss, seriously, I'm crying my eyes out. Don't be so hypocritical. Tell me how much you've improved. Boss, the herbs you gave me are incredible. They boosted my soul power by 5 levels. Now my soul power is at level 38. Maybe I can surpass you and reach Soul Master by the time I'm 14. Oscar's face lit up with excitement. But Yibai couldn't bear to disappoint him, because Yan, barring any mishaps, would already be at level 50. Yan was nearly 2 years older than Yibai, and at 18, a sulking, Yibai, at 16, was already holding on to more than half a gold brick. Both Yibai and Yan had reached level 40, allowing them to proceed to obtain soul rings. Oscar was still a little short, but he could wait to join Yan in the Stardao Great Forest to obtain soul rings. Yibai is currently unsure whether his soul power has reached level 50. With the help of fiery apricot and 8-angled mysterious ice grass, and the right leg bone of the 100,000-year-old blue silver emperor, Yibai has received an epic boost. So even if his soul power isn't 50, it's close. Huh. Going north to get soul rings? You're a thunder attributed blow lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex. Why would you want to go to the northern ice and snowland to find soul beasts? Douluo looked at Yibai with a strange expression. Forget it, you're a man of your own ideas. I think you should have had your own ideas a long time ago. Douluo asked out of habit. Your Majesty, the young people nowadays are better than we were back then. By the way, Your Majesty, my Poi clan has begun to slowly move. According to our previous plan, we were planning to station in Heiau City, north of the Sunset Forest. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49, Ice and Fire Poison, ZHU King Ice Toad. Heiau City, located in the main province of the Xiandao Empire, is a second-tier city. Bordering the Sunset Forest, it boasts considerable military strength. After Yang Wudi obtained the Yaoxiang Kilo immortal artifact, he immediately fulfilled his promise and began gathering the members of the Poi clan to migrate to the Xiandao Empire. They were originally proceeding according to plan, but upon seeing the land of ice and fire, Yang Wudi urged them to move quickly. Actually, I'm thinking of trying my luck in the far north to see if I can encounter a special soul beast. Special soul beast? Is it one you want, or one for Yan'an? Yibai smiled faintly, then said, the Zhuking Ice Toad. It's the Zhuking Ice Toad. Yang Wuda's face lit up with surprise. Douluo, I think I've heard of this soul beast's name. The 5 poisons, centipede, viper, scorpion, gecko, and toad. Most poison type soul rings are obtained from these soul beasts. Of course, there are also other poison attributed soul beasts. The Zhuking Ice Toad, a highly poisonous ice attributed soul beast. Because its population is extremely small and its whereabouts are elusive, it's extremely rare. The Zuking ice toad's greatest strength is its poison, cultivated by absorbing the extreme cold of heaven and earth. They are known as the kings of the cracks in the far north, as their territory borders a human world on the outer edge of the far north. Wherever the Zuking ice toad passes, it leaves a lasting poison. Even soul beasts stronger than it find it difficult to harm it. Yang Wudi shared what he knew. In truth, he had never seen the Zuking ice toad in person. He only knew about it from the texts left by his ancestors. The Zuking ice toad didn't venture deep into the far north for one reason. There were 100,000-year-old soul beasts resident there, and their natural enemy, the ice jade scorpion, was particularly present in the core area. Another reason was that, although the Zuking ice toad's entire body was ice attributed, its eyes were fire attributed, a unique characteristic. It wasn't well adapted to the extreme cold. Instead, it produces its special cold poison through the alternation of its own ice and fire abilities. While its attainments in ice are modest, it has mastered the true essence of the fusion of ice and fire, making this ice toad's poison extremely potent and difficult to neutralize. The Zuking ice toad abandoned its ice power to instead enhance its own poison. Yang Wudi, it's said that the Zuking ice toad possesses a trace of divine beast bloodline. This Zuking ice toad is indeed an excellent choice. It's just outside the far north. We don't have to go deep into the far north. We should be able to find it with a little more time. What about you, Kit? Douluo looked at Yan Yibai. He knew that the other party was cautious. Since he had chosen a good soul beast for Douluo, he must have made up his mind as well, and it was likely a soul beast from the north. Frost Thunder Dragon. This kind of soul beast's spirit ring has been absorbed by someone from the Blow Lightning Tyrant clan before. The skills it unleashes fuse frost and thunder. Ice can be controlled, while ice thunder superconductivity can amplify the power of lightning. After absorbing the fiery apricot and the 8-angled mysterious ice grass, I can sense that these two powers can be harnessed by me. Yan Yibai looked at his slowly raised and clenched fist. The pair of soul-powered dragon wings were proof of this. After Yan Yibai left, Douluo looked at Yang Wudi and asked, Yang Wudi, is that acacia heartbroken red reliable? Can it really allow a soul master to instantly increase their spirit power by 10 levels? Douluo was intrigued by the red ice toad Yan Yibai had mentioned. Douluo had already consumed the red acacia, so Douluo was now concerned about whether Douluo could obtain a spirit ring from a 10,000-year-old red ice toad. Of course, a 10,000-year-old one was better than a 1,000-year-old one. Your Majesty, do not underestimate immortal treasures, especially the most powerful of them. Anyone can bring about earth-shattering changes. If an ordinary person were lucky enough to obtain one, they might even embark on the path of a spirit master. The three major spirit beast habitats of Douluo continent are the ocean, the Stardow Great Forest, and the far north. The far north lies in the northern part of the continent, on the northern border of the Heavendao Empire, where a large number of Heavendao troops are stationed. The region is extremely cold, and due to its extreme environment and the powerful spirit beasts that inhabit it, it has become known as a forbidden zone for humans. This is my first time in my life in the far north, Douluo said, tightening her thick clothing. Although Douluo had provided Douluo with rare items to protect her from the cold, she still felt a chill. They were currently in Han City, the northernmost city of the Heavendao Empire and its largest. Not only was a large Heavendao Empire military presence stationed there, but the Spirit Hall also had a cardinal in charge, and there were also numerous large spirit fighting arenas. Not to mention Douluo. Even Douluo and Yang Wudi had never been to the far north in all these years. This was because their spirit rings didn't need to be acquired from the north. The more extreme the place, the more surprises it holds. With such extreme cold, there must be terrifying 100,000-year-old spirit beasts deep in the far north. I wonder if their numbers are greater than in the Stardow Great Forest. Yang Wudi was an alchemist, and his years of gathering herbs taught him that the stronger the winds and waves, the more valuable the fish or other, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. Compared to the Stardow Great Forest, the extreme cold here already deters many spirit beasts. Even ice-attributed spirit masters probably wouldn't dare venture into the depths of the far north. We're leaving tomorrow. Do you have any leads on the Frost Thunder Dragon? Yang Wudi knew nothing about thunder attributed spirit beasts. If Yibai hadn't mentioned them, he would have been completely unaware of them. There are relevant records within the Blue Lightning Tyrant clan, and there are a few clues, all of which are related to thunder. It's no more than a 10,000 year soul beast, and we won't be entering the core area of the far north or the surrounding areas. With your and my strength, we should be able to move freely in the 10,000 year soul beast area of the far north. Douluo was quite confident in his own abilities. For him, a soul beast of no more than 10,000 years old, given its distinct characteristics, would be found with some effort. Yibai had already informed Douluo and Yang Wudi before their arrival that he wanted to absorb a 10,000 year soul ring. Douluo was somewhat accustomed to it. After all, Yibai's third soul ring had been absorbed beyond the age limit. Yang Wudi, on the other hand, was different. His first reaction was that Yibai was crazy. Yes, crazy, not arrogant. He had never heard of anyone absorbing a 10,000 year soul ring with their fourth soul ring. However, after learning that this wasn't the first time Yibai had absorbed a soul ring beyond the age limit, Yang Wudi felt a little better. Afterwards, Yang Wudi, Douluo, and even Yan all accepted the fact that Yibai was going to absorb the 10,000 year spirit ring. They didn't believe in Yibai, but in the immortal grass he swallowed. Chapter 50, Target 10,000 years. Ever since Yan's third spirit skill gave Douluo a taste of success, Douluo no longer left Yan's spirit rings to chance. The right spirit ring is a powerful asset for a spirit master. Similar to the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus spirit, which has a nearly fixed spirit ring acquisition method, this method was the result of countless generations of experimentation to find the optimal solution. While this approach is undoubtedly excellent, without adapting, breakthroughs will never be achieved. Maintaining strong stability is certainly important, but without a desire for change, further achievements are impossible. This isn't limited to the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus clan. The 4 single attribute clans also have a fixed method for acquiring spirit rings. These are essentially family-style spirits, each with a well-established spirit ring system. That day, after Yibai had provided several preselected spirit beasts, Douluo not only researched them himself, but also contemplated them, imagining the effects of Yan using those spirit skills in battle. The next day, the 4 of them left the city. Since we've finally come here, let's find the right one. Yang Wudi naturally had no objection to Douluo's words. After all, he had sold him, and his entire clan to him. The far north was a vast expanse of white, and the 4 figures seemed so small in this white expanse. The far north was not a plain. On the contrary, there were very few plains, mostly separated by hills. The density of soul beasts in the far north was not small. Born in the far north, the soul beasts here have adapted to the local temperature. The far north was slightly different from the Stardow Great Forest. The core area here required one to be able to withstand the cold deeper inside to enter. This was why soul beasts like the ZHU King Ice Toad were found on the outskirts of the far north. Yan said, the most common soul beasts we've seen along this journey are snow wolves. I feel like the number of soul beasts in the far north is still much smaller than in the Stardow Great Forest. The far north is vast, covering a much larger area than the Stardow Great Forest. Its harsh environment means the number of soul beasts there is smaller than in the Stardow Great Forest. And we haven't traveled very far, so naturally, we've seen only a few. As the 4 continued their journey north of the far north house, they soon encountered soul beasts ranging from those with a cultivation level of 100 years to those with a cultivation level of 1,000 years. They encountered not only snow wolves, but also ice spirit foxes, cold moon rhinos, snow cloud birds, and others. On the first day, they passed through the area separating 100-year soul beasts from 1,000-year soul beasts, and found a forest on the outskirts, where they rested for the night. This area was still at the border between the 100-year and 1,000-year soul beasts, and the weaker soul beasts, sensing Douluo's radiant power, were afraid to approach. Sub-dragon-like soul beasts like these generally prefer to stay in mountain streams, on hills, and in forests. Yang Wudi shared his experience. Your Majesty will need to pay more attention then. Those soul beasts are all poisonous. Your Majesty is far more sensitive to poison than we are, and you'll be able to use this sense to quickly locate your target soul beast. After all, in this far north, poisonous soul beasts are rare. The next day, Douluo led the way, following Yang Wudi's instructions. A few days later, they indeed made a spurious discovery. In a snowy forest, they found a 5,000-year-old Cretaceous poison lizard. However, due to its low age, the soul beast's quality was poor, so they abandoned it. If they had chosen it, they might as well have chosen a poisonous spider soul beast in the Sunset's forest. Over the next few days, they found the right method and continued to find results, but most of them were not the target soul beasts. They did find a white spirit ice poisoned dragon, but it was only 4,000 years old, which Douluo was naturally dissatisfied with. Douluo suddenly stopped as the four of them approached a low-lying valley in the central region of the far north. Upon seeing this, Yang Wudi, Yibai, and Douluo knew Douluo had made another discovery. They had been in the far north for over 20 days, and this was Douluo's 8th prey. While the time was long and the process tedious, slow work always makes for fine results, right? Haha. This time is different. This poison. Douluo's brow furrowed. This was the first time they had seen Douluo so serious. This poison feels somewhat familiar, yet also very strange. It's highly toxic. Even Poison Supreme Douluo Douluo said this, so one could imagine how toxic it was. The scent of the poison is coming from the icy valley ahead. This poison, which even His Majesty finds strange, makes Yang curious about what soul beast it is. Yibai's eyes were sharp. He spotted the corpse of a soul beast not far away, but as Douluo and the other two made their move, he followed. They quickly leaped down the icy valley. Douluo's perception of poison had reached the point where he could sense it through living things. This was the power of his status as the Supreme Poisoner, the Supreme Poison Douluo. Goo 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 goo. Before they could get close, a series of goo 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 calls echoed. They had already entered the poison field. Although their surroundings appeared normal, they were actually filled with a colorless and odorless poison. As for why they were safe, it was naturally due to the Yalxiang Kilo immortal item. Yibai and Douluo had realized this over 10 days ago. Well, mainly Douluo, as Yibai was also immune to the poison. Although the Yalxiang Kilo immortal item was extremely tempting to both humans and soul beasts, Yang Wudi had a way to mask its aura. That sound doesn't sound like that of a large soul beast, Yang Wudi said. Douluo took over. It sounds a bit like a frog. Yibai, I think we might have found another target soul beast. Yang Wudi looked at him. Are you talking about the Zuking ice toad? We'll find out soon. Douluo said calmly. Immunized from all toxins, their movements were light and effortless, as if they were entering an empty space. Goo goo goo. After a few minutes, they could clearly sense they were getting closer and closer to their target. It wasn't until they passed through an ice cave that the sound seemed to be right beside their ears. The four of them hid behind a frozen stone wall, gazing at the icy lake not far away. Four toads, all icy blue except for their fiery red eyes, stood there. They're really the Zuking ice toads. Aren't these soul beasts said to live on the outskirts of the far north, bordering humanity? Yang Wudi was surprised. Strictly speaking, this place is still far from the depths of the far north, and is only in the area where millennium soul beasts live. It can barely be considered bordering humanity. Yibai's explanation was rather far-fetched. Okay, I think it's that thing. Yibai pointed directly above the Zuking ice toad. An ice blue lotus flower grew on the top of the ice cave. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.